Hello and welcome to Benno and Hamflett in Your House, a podcast reviewing WWE's iconic New Generation and Attitude Era B shows in order from the bust back to the boom. I'm Michael Hamflett.
And I'm Benno. I'm Michael. There's no way out of Texas. It's NWO, but not that NWO. And also, it's the 20th in Your House. I feel like we should have a celebration, mate. The Retro Boys are having a 25th retro celebration. This is our 20th main review. 21st if you count the special delivery episode as well, but you know, they might not call them proper in your houses anymore, but we do.
Oh man, I've not even considered that. So like what you're saying is this in your house is the last one before in your house can legally drink in America. but by the time we get to that one, the in your house banners and the ring skirt will be long gone. So that's what it's like, sort of when it's finally been able to get its ID and get into clubs and get into bars and get served, it's had to do away with everything about its past. Like that's a bit like when you're younger and you sort of like have to like ditch that bit of your personality in order to fake it till you make it and get in place, isn't it? That's what we're going to get on the next edition of In Your House. This is the last one. What was it? NWO Ot, because of the objects they added at the last minute as well.
It's what it always stood for. It was what they were always going for, and the multitude of like recap videos that you slam into this pre-show have got nothing to do with it, mate. There's nothing suspicious about that at all. But no, I love that as well. It's like it is like looking back on your own childhood, and it's like when you were younger, you're more like, wearing colourful clothes and stuff, letting your mum dress you and stuff, and then you become a moody adult, dressed in all. If you're at least you and me, like I am today, and on most of these podcasts, dressed in all black, bit of red, bit of grey, mixed in there as well. I think it probably does work quite well as an analogy. And like that, when you get to that point in life, you also kind of want to forget those years too, don't you? So like, we've all been the Fed in early 1998. But I mean, if we're talking it or like might as well mention it right away. Like, I wasn't sure where I was going to start with this, Michael. I mean, obviously we can get into being in Houston, Texas, amongst somehow 16,000 people sold out. Doc Hendricks is very happy about that one. We get there on the pre-show for this one, but like, I don't know, is the headline that Shawn Michaels doesn't dunk basketballs or what is it, run the 40 and 30 flat or whatever he says? Or is it that like, and the biggest fucking double take I did when I turned this pre-show on and saw that Shawn Michaels advert was the fucking little logo in the corner, mate. It was a full-on Attitude Era WWF logo here on the pre-show, and I was wondering whether it was just me, whether it was just the pre-show copy I had, and then followed me right through to the main show as well, mate. Like you say, might not be 21 yet, but we've definitely graduated in some form. It is definitely 1998.
It's proper taking me back. This, I know that I probably too much for some people's taste, like belabor the point about like aesthetics within wrestling or how like, and it's look, ultimately if you're sort of born and bred on the Fed, it's one of the things that I think it directs your brain to think about anyway. But this is genuinely the only time I can remember in the company's history where there were so many massive changes going on that the company itself couldn't keep up with them. Like we sort of like batted back and forth when we would want to have our season 1 and season 2 break, when we would want to, reference this thing happening, or when like we were going to sort of formally, because everyone's got their own opinion of when, say, for example, the Attitude Era started, and as we may get to down the line, when it ended. I didn't want to tell you when I was going to drop Attitude Era into the intro of our very podcast, because it's just, you sort of, there's little invisible blurred lines, but it carries on. Like the pre-show and the main show of this pay-per-view still have the in over 100 countries, 7 different languages globe introduction with the big blue and yellow logo. The In Your House logo on this one, God rest its soul, as of this very pay-per-view, one of 2 or 3 very emotional goodbyes that we're going to get to as we go along here, by the way, in the red and yellow colors of the In Your House branding, but with that like sort of a bit like the kind of the half and half matching logo we've gone for this period of time ourselves. It's got that New Generation logo, but they're trying to it looks like a New Generation logo that's been hit with a hammer or something, doesn't it? They're trying to like age it and weather it as if they themselves can't quite bring themselves to part with it outright and just bring the scratch logo in as the permanent replacement.
even like say like in the posters like leading up to these shows, like I've noticed that when I've been looking for materials for like the YouTube and stuff, it's just, you know, it's the typical WWF logo, but they've made it black and white. But they've made it like only in your house logo, same thing. They've gone in and they've just faded the colours down, so it's not so colourful. It's not really the in your house logo. Meanwhile, Doc Hendricks has stood there and the big fucking colourful one's still behind him. Whereas, like you say, the proper Attitude Era logo's on screen. And actually, to be fair, I'll give them points for this one. Like Doc has literally got a microphone with the WWF logo on it as well, the WWF Attitude Era logo on it. It's like it's so confused and so all over the place. So like we keep saying, they're doing it in inches, aren't they, rather than miles. But like this feels like there must have been people backstage who were just like, hang on, like, because literally it's not even just like the stuff you mentioned there. Like, yes, you know, we get the Attitude promos of throughout this free-for-all all over the place. Like I say, it's on screen, and then it's not even just in your house. Like the literal free-for-all logo itself has got the old WWF logo on it as well. Yeah. And those people backstage going, what do we do? Are we running with this? What's this scratchy thing? Is that the new thing? Like people just literally don't know, and it feels like it's a surprise when everybody got to work today.
It's a blessing and a curse, isn't it? Because on one hand, you get like, if you've got one sort of particular kind of WWE branding that you prefer or what that branding represents, there's a good chance you're going to get it on the show regardless, because you do get a bit of everything thrown at you. But the problem is that I think, bizarrely, I know people don't necessarily associate one thing with the other. Branding and identity does drive creativity and vice versa. And I think what we're finding with these last in your houses of the, like what even remains of the new generation, is that when there is something very intrinsically new generation on these cards, they've never felt more out of date. Like the whole point about the new generation was to basically call Hulk Hogan old, wasn't it? Let's call it for what it was, right? Like they launched it in 1994, like at King of the Ring, when word got around that he was going to be debuting in WCW. So the idea was, right, he belongs with the black and white footage of the Bruno Sammartino and the Pedro Morales or whatever, you know, as opposed to all the young, hip and happening superstars of today. But then gradually WCW were able to like make fools of them with the New World Order. So WWE have had to completely rethink it. And the new generation is suddenly seeming much older and dated than old golden era WWF did now. Like if you brought like even sort of, you know, the Smoking Guns out as cowboys on a show like this, they would seem more past it than if you brought Bruno Sammartino out just to wave to the crowd. Bruno Sammartino, as we discussed in the last housekeeping, has a very famous fan that's doing very big business for the WWF in this specific period of time. It's so odd how, and you know, I guess it's why we enjoyed paying tribute to it so much, how once like the Attitude Era and WWF and Vince Russo and Vince McMahon and everybody that were sort of at the helm of like the creative hub of WWE at this point, once they decided the new generation was old news, it was pretty brutal how they reflected that in the booking, wasn't it? It's just absolutely no place for any of them. Like, whereas to me, Jeff Jarrett is still preserved in amber, you know, like Jeff would realize that himself soon enough. But there is a place for these men and women from that period of time, even if right now, as you say, that awkward, I don't need you, mom and dad, like this current spell it's in, you still need to push through just that little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, and there'll always be things that just make it through the cracks where, like you say, when you're a teenager and I don't need you, mum and dad. I'm an adult now. I'm a grown up, and it's like, can you come and give me a lift? I've spent my bus money on wrestling magazines. Maybe that's a true story from my real life. It might not be, but you know, we've all been in those situations. Which is, I think, I'm just saying that's the analogy of how the Quebeccers somehow get on this main card today. Like, there's always going to be a couple that just get it through the gaps as well. But might as well mention it while you're on there, like as we get into this free for all, and while we're on a logo watch, and in fairness, like the VHS does include the free for all. I'm reliably told on this one, they didn't have to dig for it back in the day, mate, like me and you did, or really like Chris Platt did to get it for us this week. And I had to dig for the fucking main show. That was a bit of a struggle for me. Like I say, follow Michael's advice from the last show. If you're looking for this in your house, it is not in the in your house section anymore. It's in the no way out section, as I found out today, in certain countries, but maybe not others. But it used to be so much easier, mate, because the VHS had it for you. And on top of that, to your point, like, this is...
what is going on here?
In one part, it's quite sad, because you know, this is the first VHS that we're looking at that doesn't have the proper, you know, as we knew it in season one, the proper in your house logo. That's gone. Positive, though, been replaced with this new In Your House logo, which you might have noted, people, I might have stolen for this season of Benno and Hamflett In Your House. And I think the colours have mostly got a little bit more adult, maybe aside from like one very clear colour that's on the top right. And mostly it starts to look like, what we expect them to look like in 98. But contrary to what we're saying there, the people putting the videos together, while they've gotten that memo, mate, that it's not In Your House is not the header anymore. No Way Out is. They haven't got the note that the logo has changed, but they're getting there, mate. Like we said, it's just in darker colours.
Bless it, man. Just look at that. It doesn't even make it to the spine. Look at that tiny little 20 on the front cover. Like still in the same like word art font as In Your House 1 and In Your House 2. Like it's the only last living remnant. I cannot believe I'm looking at a single image here, thanks to the people at WWF Wrestling 1.
Yes.
You put like with such incredible clarity as well. But I cannot believe I'm staring at the New Generation logo on this cover in 1, 2, 3 separate color schemes. Like you've got the yellow and black and red on the back cover, you've got the black and red on the front cover, and you've got the blue for the WWF home video on the spine. Like
brilliant.
This is it. You're getting like one last look at all of them. I really like this. The one they've used there in the top left of the front cover. It's also on the back cover as well. The red and black one. It's strange, isn't it? I would love to. I know Bruce Pritchard claims that the scratch logo was just something he sort of like sketched out as a bit of a doodle, really, and it kind of came to life from that. But you can definitely see that they've toyed with the idea of just like scratching out the New Generation logo and keeping it like that. Yeah. You can definitely imagine like merch getting made, can't you? Feel like, right, it's 1998, it's the WWF, but not quite as you remember it. And as it turned out, they were right to go a little bit further and come up with a new logo outright, the type of which you see on the microphones here and the type that is now in the bottom left-hand corner on every single show. But that red one on the No Way Out cover there, it definitely looks like a prototype for something that ultimately never made it beyond Coliseum videos.
Definitely. Like they probably had 4 or 5 potential designs written down, and that was this. I bet you it's one of those things where there'll be a version of the original Attitude promos that have that logo or something like that. That hidden. Come on, WWE, we know that you're out there. You know that you're out there. Sort them out if they do exist. But no, it does. The more you look at it, it's like a magic eye painting. You can kind of see it there. But I don't know what you make of them using. I know we're gonna get into the rest of the pre-show here. What you make of them using Kane to excel. I mean, probably the best thing you can do, really, as far as this is brutal assault continuing. It kind of works with the color scheme. To be fair to them, like I say, we had some early ones where the color schemes were a lot more off than this. Maybe the pink doesn't fit in the top right, but Kane's red mask, check. Yellow background with a bit of I love the yellow reflection on that mask as well. Kind of fits with the yellow and red No Way Out theme. No mention of Texas, so maybe they weren't worried about WCW at this point when it came to putting the VHS together, but I like that stylistic choice. It does. It almost looks like it does look more adult, doesn't it? It just needs a little 15 in the corner. It looks like, I guess it could be a horror movie. Maybe they'd have that idea a few years later. It looks definitely something that would maybe not look totally out of place in those types of shelves in your local video shop compared to what we've been dealing with.
No, it does look a little bit more polished, doesn't it? Like, it's funny considering we've talked about how kind of scattershot the branding and identity of WWF is on No Way Out on the show itself. As a video, this looks like it knows exactly what it wants to be, doesn't it? Like, this is obviously things are getting darker in the company. They've done that that trick again, which I think they do for the majority of the Silver Visions to come, where they've just put that little white box around the front cover image of Kane, and it kind of draws everything in, and it tightens everything in around whoever the cover star is, and the background being black, and that little bit of faded red on the back, but the background being black is very much like WWF now is a dark and scary place. You've got the likes of Kane running around with a brutal assault. Even your heroes are smashing Billy Gunn in the face with a bin lid. Like, this is a place where there will be arguments and trouble and danger and things like that. Like the No Way Out, the font for the No Way Out, as you say, it's not got the of Texas bit there, so it looks way better without it, doesn't it? Because when you see it stapled onto these video trailers, the of Texas looks so stupid. But that Kane's brutal assault continues. That feels like a font that we all would have experimented with the first time we got our first copy of Microsoft Word, because it just looked the hardest and the scary. Like, I can definitely imagine font. Yeah, that's it. Like making a signature for myself as on a forum. like account or something with my name in that font. It was a bit of a catch-all, wasn't it, for being dead hard, basically. So I can see how they've landed on that as well.
Yeah, the hip hop forums I was on, mate, you don't want to know about, honestly. It was all about that back in the day. I'll tell you, maybe I'll throw in at the end what Benno stood for on those forums. But yes, we all tried to make ourselves look more clever than we did. And Weird Art was a good way of helping us out. But yeah, definitely ahead of the cave here, I think, the old VHS production crew on this one. But like I say, they're leading with Kane on this. And while Kane's a pretty big story on the show, and it's a pretty big story on this free-for-all as well that we're going to get to, the free-for-all does lead off, and again, maybe we're talking around this a lot, folks, because this main show is a bit of a chore once we get there. For this reason, as we do have, as mentioned, Doc in ring with his little scratched logo microphone. He is put over that it's sold out, like I say, but we do get our first tease. Feels like 400 throughout the night here at No Way Out in Texas of the mind-boggling possibilities of who could possibly be taking the place of Shawn Michaels as not the fourth man, the eighth man in the main event 8-man tag. But he does manage to get in there that it's going to be a no sanctioned anything goes match, which does get him a little bit of a pop and babyface himself with the crowd. But yeah, we're starting early on this pre-show, mate. And from a little bit of reading around it as well, and obviously we'll hold our water massively for if people don't know, the massive reveal that it obviously comes at the end of this pay-per-view. But like, I think, didn't he break the news, I think, was it Shock on Saturday night, or was it Superstars on Sunday morning? It was always clear Shawn wasn't going to be there, but yeah, making it clear for those that might have missed the weekend programming here.
I think they're having the heartbreak cake and eating it too here a little bit, because yes, they've told people on Superstars, and yes, they're hammering it on the pre-show, and they even hammer it on the pay-per-view itself, even though by then the people have already paid their money and made their choice. But it's like Shawn, by his own admission, was in serious trouble within days of the Royal Rumble, and has obviously had WrestleMania on his mind, and that being, and company wide, that'll surely be the only goal, is to make sure that Shawn gets to WrestleMania healthy and in one piece. But if you go back to the last episode, the last housekeeping, where we talked about the build to this match and how ultimately it overlapped with bringing the Outlaws for closer to DX as a tag team act that could be believable as a main event concern. You already felt as if they were doing what they could to pad out the lack of physicality that Shawn Michaels was capable of. And I don't know, man. I wonder if, had they have had the guts, they could have said ahead of time that Shawn Michaels could have been taken out, for example. It would have been fairly easy to have him say, go running for the hills, and he's like, Stone Cold Steve Austin, you're gonna have to wait till WrestleMania to get your hands on me, whatever it was. And I just think you can well imagine that everybody involved thought this is the way to do it. We'll announce it as an 11th hour thing so nobody can accuse us of false advertising, but then we don't have to come out with nobody on this pre-show, nobody on this main show gives you cast iron justification for the late pullout, as opposed to days earlier. Shawn has got a back injury, is all they're kind of prepared to say, which suggests incorrectly that he's been working house shows or something, and it's just something he's tweaked something 24 hours earlier when they know otherwise. It's a bit I get it, you got to preserve that match. That match is the be all and end all. That's the difference making thing. But they had it in them to kind of try and come up with something better, and I think they've all made the collective decision not to here.
It's very wrestling, isn't it? They're very clearly they know if they just if they outright say who's going to be revealed as the person in the match later, that's going to harm buyers as well. So why don't we? Let's go the Carney route. Let's just build it up. Well, we don't know who it's going to be. They don't know who it's going to be. If the wrestlers in the match don't appear to care who it's going to be, but we can build it up and we can sell that instead of selling Shawn, and it just feels all a bit dirty and grimy, doesn't it? And we might as well cover up all the bits of that are on the pre-show. You get Triple H and China coming out of the limo, not stolen from the NWO whatsoever, arriving early at the show. You also get them later on in the show. They're the thing that kind of takes us out, don't they, of the free for all. And it's that moment, like you say, of Shawn's just not there at all. It's not like he's going to be there on the outside with DX, and by reports, or by Shawn Michaels' account himself, which I'm a little bit more dubious on than you. There's part of me that just believes he never had the soul back ever, but he just waited till 2002 to make it feel like it was real. But the fact that he's not there, and by accounts he is supposedly bedridden, is another massive thing, isn't it? Because you would, even if the circumstance, if it was able to, he would be there at least on the outside, because then there'd be a fucking purpose for this main event, rather than Steve Austin just beating up people that he's not really that asked about in the main event instead. So I think that says it all, that he's not there in person. And I think it's a running theme throughout the pay-per-view itself, so we're going to keep coming back to it. But Triple H is kind of just checked out on the whole thing as well, isn't he? With he's got his phone rings, doesn't it? While him and China had ended this free-for-all, and he's making jokes about it. Oh, who put that on loudspeaker? Anyway, and then he gets the phone, he just turns around and walks off, and that's your fucking tease at the end of who could he be talking to? Honestly, I almost want to ask it now. Who were they teasing? I looked it up, and it was Sid was somebody that people thought it might be, and because apparently he cancelled some softball games or something, and it just turned out it was Sid being Sid. It was nothing to do with the fact that he was coming back tonight. He just didn't fancy showing up to whatever engagements he had. But it did feel like they were trying to be well, it could be Hulk Hogan, it could be Kevin Nash, it could be Scott Hall. I guess they'd have waited 2 moments, it could have been X-Pac. They're really trying to hammer it home, aren't they, in the opening and the close to this pre-show, and trying to say something while very clearly saying nothing at all.
It's so hard to talk around this without talking about it. And I say that knowing that the majority of people that are tuned into this podcast know exactly who the end thinks. It's not like we're leaving some sort of cliffhanger, but
going to be a hell of a reveal.
You have that sort of presenter's integrity where you want to try and build the suspense up as is necessary. But that isn't something that that's not a gratitude that the WWF extend to us here.
No.
Not Todd, sorry, God, I missed Todd. Doc Hendricks says at one point, the possibilities of who DX may choose are mind-boggling. Why say that? Has nobody smartened them up on who's on the whiteboard backstage? Because God almighty, Doc almost forgets, there must be that wrestler mentality of being such a carny and being so used to just saying, hey, it's the biggest night of all time. Tonight's the end of the world. You don't want to miss that. Only to then say, tomorrow night, check out, because the end of the world's tomorrow. He even realizes, oh, hang on. No, wait a minute. That guy's the payoff. So what we're going to have to do is instead get a pop out of saying it's non-sanctioned, anything goes. To the point where, did you notice this as well? When he said non-sanctioned the first time, I don't think the audience quite knew what that meant, and they thought the match had been cancelled. So he had to say anything goes, no rules, because that's what we love in Texas. Cheap pop, everybody cheers. So they said Texas, yeah. Just honestly throw as much shit as you possibly can on top of this match, because we're pretty certain something's about it. Knowing what they know, and there was a bit of law, and we'll get to what we can at least narratively tie in how the replacement found their way into the match. Knowing what they know, because they booked it, it's not a shoot. The guy didn't just volunteer himself. Why have them, on the pre-show at least, talk about, well, I know why the answer is, it's to still sell the pay-per-view, but why say with such excitement, can you imagine someone, and Doc stops himself saying somebody with the same amount of ability and high flying, I'm comparing him to Shawn Michaels here, somebody that would want to hang out with Degeneration X, he has to completely reframe even the style of wrestler he's talking about, to the point where later on as we go into the card, wrestlers themselves, commentators can't decide whether to distance themselves from the idea, whether or not to be all in on it. Video packages are inconsistent with one another. The whole thing is so people are going to call me tribal. I don't care. There is something very WCW about this. Left hand not knowing what the right hand's doing, wrestlers kind of going into business for themselves, small level politics that kind of play out in a big way when the match hits the ring. Extremely unusual.
No one wants it to stick to them.
Nah, and it's the one thing you always have with WWE, obviously up until 2022, is that for better and worse, it's an autocracy, isn't it? That was always the thing. Vince McMahon, final sign off on every single thing. So he's seeing all these things, and it's has he lost track of it? Has he sort of gotten so confused with whatever the hell's going on in Shawn Michaels' life at this point that he's hang on, do DX like this guy? Is this a new member of DX? They have very literally lost the plot, and they're kind of gambling on thinking, can we get away with literally any old shit because it involves Stone Cold Steve Austin? And the answer, it turns out to be yes, but nonetheless, it doesn't make it any less shit nonetheless, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. I mean, I will, in their defense, WWE did have their... I was surprised to read this in The Observer. Their best rating ever for Nitro 2 weeks, I think it was before this, or maybe 3 weeks before this. So, again, Eric Bischoff's still opening his Christmas presents, thinking everything's great, well into January and February at this point. But, no, you are right. It is all over the place, and it is just a cast of characters. Like I say, most of the wrestlers, by the end of the night, just get to the point of, whatever. Doesn't matter, does it? Why do you care? I don't care. Why are you bothered? Like, why are you the audience? Why'd you care about who it's going to be? Oh, it might be because the fucking promotion spend the entire free-for-all, like you say, bombarding us with adverts about it, especially the one where it's like, Shawn Michaels will handpick his replacement tonight. Yeah. It's like, really? Because I don't think he did when it comes to it at the end. And like you said about the country nature of it all, Triple H's promos here on the free-for-all and later in the night also indicate that Shawn Michaels is definitely not picking who this person is. It's narratively all over the place, but they've just seen the dollars, haven't they? Or they've seen the dollars, slipping away from them and have just gone as carny as they possibly can just to make sure that not too many people are ringing up their local cable company for their refunds.
It's mad. It is absolutely... I mean, like, is this... Before we even get started proper, I've got a goodbye for you, Benno, if you want one, considering that we don't tend to count housekeeping matches, especially not ones that we're reviewing in full. It's just a small one. It's not a big one. Let's get out of the way on the free-for-all, and let's just leave it in the background. On this podcast, say goodbye to the in-ring career of Shawn Michaels. We're done. It's over. Yep. Like, that is it. D-Generation X in your house against Ken Shamrock. That was that. Of course, we've got housekeeping to talk about. Of course, there will be promos. Of course, there will be one last stretch of build with a pretty big plot development coming in the next edition of housekeeping. But the last bumps that man takes until 2002 are indeed against Steve Austin at WrestleMania 14. Something we'll kind of like gloss past in the next edition of housekeeping to get us to Unforgiven in your house. Unforgiven, a Shawnless World Wrestling Federation. Not even a commissioner until the end of the year. But you're not going to see those tights. You're not going to see those like lovely entrance attires he would come out with, the boots, nice. the taped fists. We're done. Goodbye, HBK. Tell me a lie and say that you won't go.
I always knew I hated Undertaker, and now I know the real reason. It's this, isn't it? Oh, mate. Like, and that's the reason why when I've been putting the graphics together for the YouTube page, like, it's been Sean's face for like the last 4, because I know that he's going. I know that it's gonna have to be Steve in it for like the next 2 years now, and a bit of Rock, maybe the odd Triple H thrown in as well. Oh, this feels like the other one that we're going to talk about later, where the kitchen, I don't know. To be honest, it feels a bit like Brett when we got there, and it was like, surely there's more Brett. We still got Montreal to go. Oh, wait, no, we fucking don't. Christ, why couldn't he made it to work tonight for No Way Out? That's going to hurt. Jesus.
It just, like, this era just takes no prisoners, doesn't it? It's like, hold on for dear life or get the fuck off, because they're just going to forget you like that. It's no wonder like this was so paranoid about the spots, isn't it? Like, you're just a guy the second you're off screen.
Unbelievable. We'll have to cover the TWA training match or whatever it was that they did that I downloaded on the nascent internet in my school in like 2001 to get hold of. So maybe we can do that. And there's always Jesus Show, mate. I'll just pretend I like it. I'll do a turnaround. I don't really get there. Wow, that one's gonna sting. If only he could have made it to work tonight for No Way Out. But I mean, outside of that, on the pre-show, we have a bit of Cole talking up Ahmed. Sorry, I'm just emotionally distraught now. Cole talking up Ahmed and the nation. Speaking of people we thought we were gonna lose, we get a bit of a recap there to the Rock's chase us head around the world to Ken Shamrock's face. Another memorable one in a slew of memorable things we get from Dwayne. Tonight with a couple of them, and also a recap of him snapping and going after chains and being a very sad man at the end, looking at his hands, wondering about the violence that he did. But yeah, also tied in with a little Shamrock Attitude Era video, the one with the I never knew my father. All my life I fought to survive. That one. But yeah, any thoughts on any of
that? The Shamrock abandoned cars and cardboard boxes. Yeah, Attitude Era commercial I thought was good. Slightly more credible than Shawn Michaels one, like when they were giving people the individual Attitude Era trailers. And yeah, like Michael Cole with the New Age Outlaws, I suppose, was of note. As he was like just sort of it was Kevin Kelly might have been the two reporters were like hanging backstage just trying to get interviews with folk. We're going to get to the main event of that set of interviews in just a second. Yeah, the dumpster can bit was quite cute, but I did like Billy Gunn snatching the microphone away and say, "Let me give that microphone to somebody who knows what to do with it," and then handed it to Road Dogg, almost acknowledging that he is not that guy.
Yeah, Triple H knows that when we get to the main event as well. Get Road Dogg to do the talking and not Billy. I enjoyed like the cartoon hijinks of the running away from Chainsaw Charlie, who was apparently behind the door, but I'm not 100% certain he was. But there you go, another selling point for your main event. You get in there. Oh, while we're talking extra things that happened on here, I mean, we've got to go to this as well as flogging the superstar line amongst the videos. We do of course get a Sunny appearance here on the pre-show, building Kane and Vader, and of course we got a couple of recap videos here, including the one that they keep pushing throughout the entire night, which is that Vader's a real tough guy, and you've got to be scared of him. Like we've been pushing him this entire time. What you're on about? He's been a big threat for 2 years, and then you've also got a Kane video which shows him lighting the casket on fire, which again that knobhead deserved for what he did to Shawn Michaels, but it leads Michael to something I know you're dying to talk about, the Vader promo here, where he talks about the World Federation, mate, and he flirts with Sonny. He's on tour winner. He knows he is, mate. He's got a big match tonight again. Why is he not on the cover of this VHS? I don't know.
The World Federation, Vader, man. You can't do anything right. So yeah, he's in the middle of butchering what would like basically be a promo for his last money feud in the company, and like people are still wondering how this run failed. Well, I hope you've listened back to our podcast and found out it's by actually it's not about him not getting booked, it's about what happened when he did get booked, and this was just another banner night for the Mastodon. So yeah, he's bumbled through another Vader time promo, including creating just an all-timer scenario that was thankfully preserved on this free-for-all. And because it was live, it wasn't something that they could do again. And because obviously WWF just thought it was either funny to include it or like weren't asked, they left it in, preserved forever, loved it so much. Vader kind of like runs out of road with whatever it is he's trying to say about being the toughest and hardest man in the World Federation. And then he kind of leans into Sonny and goes, "Sonny, what time is it? What time is it?" And then she, like, I think trying to like create a bit of a riff between him, like actually gives the time, and she's really thinking about it. Like it's 1:15, it's 15 minutes for the pay-per-view. And then surely if you're Vader, you just take the ball back and you're like, not now, Sonny, it's Vader time, and like it's gonna be Vader time. That's it. You like she's giving you a fairly easy one there. But Vader just sort of like stops, confused, and stares at her and forgets his own catchphrase. And like the end result is that he kind of like leans in and says, "That's not what I meant, Sonny. It's Vader time." But like because he's left a bit of a gap, right, where the cogs are whirring, there is nothing but complete pin drop silence in this corridor, right? So let's just say, hypothetically, I don't know, you're a wrestler, maybe Hawk from the Legion of Doom, just happens to be in a locker room, hearing Vader go, bah, 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 and then thinking, right, I'll just wait for the silence, then I know I can leave, right? So Hawk is listening, bah, 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 Vader time, and then silence. So Hawk thinks, right, fine, I can come out this locker room now. Only he doesn't know that Vader's stumbled into a cul-de-sac. So Hawk walks out the room, realizes that we're still live, pal, goes like, I apologize because this is for video viewers only rather than the audio ones, but like pops his head out, goes, "Oh, fucking hell," and then just goes back in again. Oh, shit.
He's Homer Simpson back into the hedge, isn't he? It's not like he turns around, he just goes, "Oh, shit."
His eyes rolling further back into his head than The Undertaker would when he's doing his signature bit.
Even if people haven't seen this, they'll know what we're talking about, won't they? They've seen
makeup.
the GIF.
He's got the Hawk makeup on. Like, and he's got his gear on, but he's got a T-shirt on as well. Like, oh, it's magic, man. Absolutely. I don't know if Sonny might catch it out the corner of Ryan Pop. I don't think Vader does.
No.
But like maybe like a cameraman laughs or something like that. But there was just a sense at the end that somebody's corpsed in it. It's like they're just about to get over the line. But this shot of Hawkman, all because Vader has just left a gap that, it's live TV, isn't it? Seconds feel like minutes. And in that silence, Hawk must have thought, job done, I can come out now. It is absolutely magic. Genuinely, like, especially if you're watching this full tape, one of the highlights of the 3 hours you're about to have, without question.
I pissed myself laughing. Like, I knew it was coming, and then I forgot it was coming, and then it happened, and I laughed again. Like, I feel like, I'm sure it's like a Botchamania staple. I feel like the Hawk face is used as like a transition, isn't it, in those videos? Like, again, even if you're like someone who's younger than us and you haven't like seen a lot of this period, you'll have seen the clip. You'll have seen it, but it's worth going back and seeing it. It's best thing about that Vader promo, and probably yet it's the fucking hands moment, isn't it? We did 42 takes, and that was the best one, and it's probably true. It was the fucking best one. 1,000,000%. But there we go. We get that in there as well. Any other highlights from the pre-show? We do have another meme to come in the night as well. Hawk's not the only one who would set gifts ablaze for the next 30 years, but God bless him. Anything else here?
The only other thing was, I was thinking after we finished recording, what I'll probably do is send my cable bill off to the WWF for proof of purchase. Not to get my free copy of WWF The Music Volume 2, but to get one for $5 reduced. The lousy bastards. You order the pay-per-view and you can't even get a CD for now. They still want an extra $5.
I enjoyed that. Did you have any mates who, like, me mates, maybe you'll listen to this one day, me mate Sam at home from school, like, or from, like, my little local street, like, his dad would do that. He'd send, he'd take it literally, be like, do you want a cable bill? All right, I'll send them the Telewest bill, from, like, the northwest of England. I don't think they ever got anything back, but God bless them for trying. Probably cost them more than stamps than whatever they were the one would giving them back when they were giving stuff away. But, lean times, Michael, the good times aren't back yet.
Hey man, I wouldn't have got anything if we'd have sent because we had when we did get Sky, we had Sky rather than cable. The few times that the Fed was on Sky box office, like my mum and dad wouldn't buy it. I've definitely talked about this before. Trying to watch the show through the white and black lines.
Oh yeah, that was
and try and imagine that you could see. But what was the point in sending that bill if it didn't actually have the order of Capital Carnage on it? I wasn't going to get anything for free, was it?
And you couldn't, smartphones or anything, so you couldn't video yourself, just in front of the telly, looking sad, listening to it like it was. It never worked, did it? Like it was radio commentary, wrestling's unfortunately a visual medium. You were there. You were there in those days, but we've all been.
It was the original podcast, wasn't it? Listening to a box office event.
Definitely. And again, it was one of those. It'd be good if you couldn't wait for the spoilers, and then you could just get up on Saturday morning and get the recap shows. So you had to make do with what you could, especially when it was a non-football season in the summer with the dads not willing to pay for the Sky Sports. All
well and good, but when you with one night only or something, but quite different when you got to Capital Carnage and your rich mate at school was like, Jacqueline did what? Like that was sort of.
And then by the time you get to see it, it's censored, which is tough being a teenager in the 90s, 2000s. But yeah, that's the free for all. Really, like I say, it's video. This is the one the most on a free for all. We've seen them just replay the same advert for the show or variations of the No Way Out in Texas advert and the Steve Austin advert and the Shawn Michaels advert. But very much in promotion mode on this one. But it was always a fun watch. As opposed to this show, which does take us to the main show here. Like I mentioned, we are February 15th, 98. We are in Houston, Texas at the Compaq Center. And like I say, it's 16,000 people there who are excited to see what we'd get here. Allegedly 150,000 buy rates as well, but I want the before Shawn Michaels was taken off the card and the after Shawn Michaels was taken off the card number. Maybe Meltzer can provide it to us. But yeah, again, we get the No Way Out intro video here, bigging up Austin. Bigging up the baby faces to introduce the show. And yeah, of course, we open with Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. And what are they talking about? They're talking about Shawn. They're talking about the 8th man. Because that is what this show is tonight. But yeah, any notes on any of that, mate?
It's just mad. Like, it's you get the again, like I've got the note on the In Your House banners being zoomed in on when everything else is very Attitude and very No Way Out. The house, as we've already noted, is long gone. But it's replaced by nothing in particular, is it? It's just metal. Like that's the only thing I could think to describe the set is metal. It's not particularly ugly, but it's not very aesthetically pleasing. It's just girders and metal and stuff, really. So the fact that already kind of being greeted with this dark and new world, so dark in fact that it was too dark for Shawn Michaels to even turn up. It's it's all it's not the most sort of encouraging sign of things to come, is it?
No, I was going to say too dark for Shawn Michaels and possibly too dark for Triple H. If you look at the bags under his eyes and all the promos that he's cutting across this night, I think he spent a lot of late nights keeping Shawn happy during this period. It definitely. Shannon looked like she was well rested though, so I guess she left the lads to it. But yeah, if you got nothing more on that, that takes us to our first match on this cursed pay-per-view. We have Mark Miro and the artist formerly known as Goldust versus the Headbangers. I mean, even before we get to the match, mate, Mark Miro obviously making a big entrance. The Sable Pop is now very much a thing as they come out together in matching boxing robes. And of course, I do still get a kick out of Mark Miro trying to take credit for the pops from the crowd. Goldust then comes out as his tag team partner with Luna in all black drag outfit. I think it is the Goldust is working here, and
Marilyn Manson, isn't it?
Oh, is it supposed to be Manson?
Off the back of like the feud with the Headbangers and stuff like that.
There you go. That makes sense. Yes, the Headbangers are here too, folks. But yeah, the least important characters in this. But yeah, Miro does jump on the mic, and yeah, it says there's only room for one good-looking woman in this ring, one beautiful lady. And sends Sable to the back. I mean, even before we get into the match, and the match is very much about Sable, because like I say, yes, the Headbangers are also here. They get to be fair, they get the warm end of a lukewarm pop when they come out. But yeah, the crowd reaction and everything here, it's all to set up this Sable story. And yeah, as we talked about with Mark Miro, even though there's problematic elements to this entire thing, there is still some entertainment to be out of the little double act.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're gonna go into Sable a bit more in housekeeping next month because of reasons that will become clearer as we head towards Unforgiven. But maybe, and I'll take responsibility for this, like coming up with the notes for housekeeping and the video. Maybe we should have like given her a bit more credit in the run up to this show, because if anything, we try in previewing the stuff to come and making sure that we highlight and spotlight all the biggest stuff going on in the company. And from these reactions, if you can't tell, Sable has become one of the biggest things in the company. It's almost quite jarring to see Sonny as the backstage interview and knowing what we've known about Sonny all these years, and then see at this point, the way more visceral reaction that Sable gets. They play with the heat magnificently, but they were already wise to it, because the reason that Miro and Goldust have been brought together on screen is because Miro's jealousy resulted in him bringing out Goldust dressed as Sable. And Jim Ross was saying, oh, here they are, like two small-minded men desperate for attention. And, like Goldust was in drag as Sable. Luna was like more than happy to go along with it with Goldust. And that creates the dissension between Luna and Sable. Mark Miro kind of just still wants Sable out of the way. Playing it magnificently well, by the way. Like, understanding ultimately to his massive, massive detriment how showing ass was going to help get his wife like even more over than she already was. But yeah, like honestly, this might seem like a weird comparison, but like a couple of years ago, I think a lot of people compared Jey Uso to Jim Duggan on account of how like Yeet was a version of like Jim Duggan saying, oh, and carrying around a plank of wood or whatever. I would argue that like Jim Duggan was, I have to be realistic about it, was a better pro wrestler than Jey Uso. Like he was crap as well, but like Mid-South, whatever, we've all watched the same 5 tapes. Like WWF hacksaw Jim Duggan was like no more entertaining when the bell rang than Jey Uso was, even if his fundamentals were better. Obviously Jey Uso is a terrible wrestler fundamentally, but I think Sable is a far more like for like comparison here. Somebody that like doesn't have a lot in the toolkit, a bit like Jey Uso as a singles wrestler, doesn't have a lot in the toolkit, but you absolutely cannot deny the connection with the crowd, and you have to go with it as a result. Like I'm really mixed on Sable here. I kind of expected, like I'm jumping ahead because you're right, the Headbangers and like even the match really is a side, like it's a side piece to the Sable of it all here in this presentation. But like you kind of, it's very difficult to critically analyze Sable because she, at this point, doesn't do a lot. But because of what she does do being so well received by the audience, it's hard to argue that they haven't kind of nailed it. They're not like WWE are not asking Sable to perform too much, but with every little thing she does, the audience goes nuts. So naturally, that's going to inspire her to be a bit more confident and a bit more outgoing. And the whole thing feels to me, at least, like it's growing very organically together. They haven't begged the audience to fall in love with Sable. The audience have told WWF, we're kind of in love with her, and WWF have gone, right, well, here you go then. Here's a bit more.
To give you, like I say, to jump ahead as well, like, the obvious comparison here, like how far we talked about it in the last show, how far she's leapfrogged Sunny. Like Sunny comes out for the second match, doesn't she? Like she's the hat on the hat because it's it's little guys wrestling, so send Sunny out there, and the pop is noticeably like it's not half, but it's probably like 65% of what Sable gets, and I think a lot of that as well. It is the double act of it. Like we said, I think we covered ourselves. There are problematic elements to what they're doing here. But there's also a very given Mark Mero in a lot of ways who wants to get her over too. And you can even see it on the entrance. Like, he's like, you can tell, like, she's just walking, doing nothing because she doesn't really know what she's doing. And he's like, throw your hand up, like, get a pop. And she throws her hand up in the chair. And then he takes the credit for it. He's punching the air like they're cheering for him. Like, there's a bit of smoke and mirrors from him too, isn't there? But, like, he's not there. He's there to get himself over, absolutely. But he's into this, isn't he? He's into trying to get her over. And I think it's a big part of it, as well as the obvious reasons that Sable is and would remain over, that, young men like us watching the show would be gravitating towards, and Vince Russo.
I will say, I think it's Mero and, like, to a lesser extent Goldust, but definitely Luna as well. And we'll touch on this a little bit as we head into Unforgiven next month, really, because they kind of really dial the rivalry up between these two. But already you can sort of see wrestling as the dance and the idea of helping performers come on and stuff like that. Because Sable is kind of only as good here as the people she gets to bounce off of. But when she does, my word, does she deliver. Oh, yeah. Like her facials here, knowing that the camera is going to be on her a lot. It's all about, like, they say, like, acting is reacting or whatever it is. Well, for the first time here, I think Sable is given a lot to react to, and she nails it. Like, she absolutely nails it. Like, money facials whenever, like, Luna gets in the way or Mero agitates her or anything. The fans are with her. Like, she's proper kind of catching the attention of the fan in row Z and getting them to root for her. And that, as much as what people can say what they want about Sable, in a lot of aspects of pro wrestling, she's got that connection, and it's a sort of connection that, like, 95% of wrestlers would die for. And yes, of course, it's 1998, and I'm trying to avoid the elephant in the room here. And that, in some respects, is always going to give Sable a kind of different bond with a young male audience. But it can't just be that. We've seen enough other examples where it's just that, and those wrestlers don't connect. Sable's different gravy. She's like, I sometimes kick myself because in the conversation of Austin and Rock and everybody else, you then go to Mick Foley and you then go to The Undertaker, and begrudgingly you then go to Triple H. I would argue we're about to enter the space in which Sable leapfrogs everybody but Rock and Austin. It's Austin, Rock, Sable. Like, and for a while, it's Austin, Sable, Rock. Do you know what I mean? Like, where I don't think you can overstate that in terms of, like, in terms of WWF's new, like, outward facing image of the big stars of the show. Like, I think Sable's got the X's number for a little while,
Steph will be loving hearing that because she's a big fan of Sable during this period, and also ironically with some performances. But it's funny because people go to China, don't they? Like, I don't know if I go that far, but when you, like, use the big women's star of this era, people go China. Not Sable, mate. It just is, isn't it? Like, to that point, bringing up the Sunny point again. Like, Sunny's like, she shouldn't be chopped liver. Sunny's more charismatic. Like, she's a very good looking lady herself. On top of it, and she also understands the wrestling business way more than Sable. And then there's just some reason why Sable just does eclipse her, doesn't she? It's some kind of intangible on top of, like I say, we know the elephant in the room, the obvious part of it too as well. But yeah, it's just the right person at the right time in a lot of ways too. But again, Sunny was right there too, so yeah, it says something that it's Sable. But I mean, to that point, like, as far as the match goes, like you said there, I don't bore people too much with the detail. Like, again, the headbangers are here also. Like, the headbangers actually do, like I say, they get some reasonable pops in this one. They're, like, for the double teams, like, opening up with, like, Mosh is doing the mosh pit literally in the corner, and the little drop down clothesline thing that brings in Thrasher. They've got a few fun double teams through this. They do a lot of, like, these, like, the traditional, like, arm ring tag stuff going back and forth, and then they'll mix in, like, one of their wacky things, like the suplex splash off the top rope thing that they do. And it's all getting a pretty good reaction until you get to the heat. And you get to the heat, and that comes from a blind tag from Miro to Goldust. Gets in with a knee lift. Triple H is watching these tapes thinking, I'll steal that homework. Later on, you get a Goldust low bridge as well, just when Thrasher feels like he's making a comeback. And they do. They bloody up Thrasher here. They're going for sympathy. They're throwing him into the steps. Goldust does it. Miro does the same as well. They're back and forth like a well-oiled machine as a tag team. And then Goldie grabs a headlock on young Thrasher. And I think at this point, this is where traditionally crowds might start chanting for the young headbangers. You know what they do, Michael? They chant for Sable instead. And what could show you more of where everybody's head is? And like you said, during all this, where everybody's eye is, it's still on Sable, isn't it? She's probably not going to get in there and help the headbangers do that comeback, which we'll get to. But, I think that's what the people actually want.
No, absolutely. Thrasher, I thought it was interesting that Thrasher got colour again, because I feel like we've seen a lot of Thrasher's blood lately, haven't we? It was the boombox with the Outlaws. It was the the bottle of Jack Daniels in the poker game with the X. And now it's almost
Sean
like
just fucking palms him, didn't he? Yeah. Jesus.
It's almost like he's clocked a bit of a cheek. Oh, they're not bollocking me for blading, and I'm on the undercard. I might as well do that and add a bit more colour, very literally, to a headbangers match.
It's the old wrestler thing, isn't it? The Abbey thing. It's like, just punch me in the right bit. I've been busted open every day this week. Just literally gust of wind. Well, blade job sorted. Maybe he's in that mode. I know some people think I've been like harsh on Vader, but I do really try and I think we try and be fair on this podcast, and it's it's fun to dispel myths sometimes and be able to say, you know what, you weren't looking closely enough, and please watch this again because you'll see how this wrestler shines in a way that you may not have expected. We used to heap a lot of praise on a certain new generation mid-carder that might have a role on this show that we'll talk about later on, just as one example. But I'm going to have to flip this the other way. In every match we've has Goldust ever been good? He's so shit. What's going on? He's not good ever. Is he ever? Even here, going through my notes, I've got when it gets to the heat here, it's just more heat, more punches, more kicks. However, when Miro gets in, he chokes fucking Thrasher with his choker. He fucking does a weird sit-out bomb that he just can't help himself, can he? Still the wild man inside. But he's entertaining, isn't he? He stands out. Yeah, Goldust is also there. Maybe he should get that headline rather than the headbangers. He might, like I say, it's like Vader, isn't it? He might be the, not sacred cow, but I think at least in this incarnation of his... We'll go back and watch some Dustin Rhodes from early 90s WCW. I think Gareth and JP could put us through our paces with that. But you're right, it's all Miro in the heat here. You get it, obviously, you get the little bit of notable spots there from Miro, leading to him trying to go for the TKO, which I always fucking loved as a move. I knew that he stole it from DDP, but it's still a fucking great move, isn't it? And to this day, people still call it a TKO and not a Diamond Cut. It's a fuck you, Diamond Dallas Page. But yeah, that gets countered by the DDT by Thrasher. Mosh gets the hot tag. He comes in, all elbows, all punches, the double flapjack there for the near fall. They go for the stage dive, and that's where we get to the business end of things as Luna crotches him, which of course brings out the real star of the evening, Sable. She comes back out from backstage, gets the big old Sable pop, which has become a thing at this point. You get the Miro and Goldust separating the two ladies there, at which point the headbangers do twin magic, which is a bit bizarre for the headbangers. But in fairness, I wasn't sure which one of them it was, Mosh or Thrasher, so I guess it worked. And they get the inside cradle on Thrasher. We'll get to the post-match, which is also all about Sable and Luna here. But they set it up with the opening. The fans made it clear who they were really into. The headbangers played their role, and of course, it's all about Sable coming out at the end.
Yeah, this was definitionally functional. In that if you had 4 goals or something for this match, you couldn't argue that they were all accomplished. That's not to say, outside of Mark Mero, God bless him, trying to make some of his offense heelish by putting in, as you say, chokes with the tape or
so little punches.
Anything. Yeah, he would. It was sort of when
I love him. I can't help it.
I love Mark Mero, man. What is it the actors do where they do what is it? 2 for the money, 1 for the show. So they have to make 2 films to buy their big houses and live their fancy lives, and then they get to make one that is for them. That's for their artistic integrity and stuff. I feel like that's the case with Mero. Where it's 2 for the heel, 1 for the babyface. So he'll like try and do 2 little cheat things like a cut off or a choke or a low blow or whatever, because he's just fucking desperate to get up there and do a moonsault or like do something really cool. He's got so much of this stuff that like think about how long he was a babyface as Johnny B. Bad in WCW.
Yeah.
Like he ended up working for longer as a babyface in that company than as a heel, and then he comes in as a wild man and gets this contract that everybody in the locker room hates, but so he's thinking, right, I've got to show that I'm worth the money. Check this out. He gets 1 injury and they're like, be a boxer and throw punches. He's like, you fucking kidding? Like, I've got all this shit I can do. Bless him, man. Like, just trying to sneak his cool stuff into a fairly bland heat shine tag match. God bless him, man. And
you maybe want to see him versus Carl Fletcher
10 times more over.
He's one of those wrestlers in the turns, oh yeah, I'm the baddie, but look at all fucking cool shit that I can do. Like, that's just it. That's every wrestler now, pretty much. He was just ahead of his time, Michael. That's all it is. Mark Mero was in the wrong body at the wrong time. But speaking of which, like I say, the post match is all about, like I say, to be fair, it's again the most over part of the match. We get a calf fight with Sable and Luna, and the big spot of the match again, Miro doing his job here, getting pushed down by Sable, which again gets a mega pop. All the replays are showing that, and all the commentaries is talking about coming out of it is what's going to happen next with Sable and Mark Mero, and a little bit what's going to happen next with Sable and Luna. Like you said, job done, and like I say, mega pop for it too.
Phenomenal pull apart brawl. Like Sable and Luna's physical chemistry when they get hands on each other is absolutely fantastic. They know they're onto a winner here ahead of WrestleMania. It's funny, right? I've got in my notes, Mero gets in Sable's face once too often, and Sable pushes him to the mat. Massive star-making moment, huge reactions, money. And obviously that is true for Sable, because this is one of 2 big moments that basically cost Mark Mero a run in the main event against Steve Austin, isn't it? Like, such is the politics of the industry and what it meant to be getting shoved on your ass by a woman per the standards of the time. This was the kind of thing that was going to get Mero untold levels of heat backstage for daring to sell for his wife and daring to sell for a little woman or whatever it is. It's a shame. Like, giving himself to the cause, but I mean, what a cause to give himself to, because this was a money act.
Yeah, it was. And again, before its time, I feel like the reverse of before its time is what Steve Austin does when he's in the ring with a woman at the end of this night, but different time, isn't it? But yeah, you feel like now it'd be like, oh no, that's goodies. Like, great, yeah, I'll work with you, no problem. It's just but I feel like with Austin and the list of characters where it's like, oh, we could have had a main event with Jeff Jarrett, Billy Gunn, and you list them off. It's like, Steve just didn't want it, did he? At the end of the day, he just didn't want it. Didn't really need a good reason. Just didn't fancy it. And his instinct was usually right in those circumstances as well. But I'd have enjoyed it. But there we go. Start here for Sable, and the lads were there as well. And you're right to point out Luna again. I think she has like a mini role, doesn't she, during this period, and obviously with the oddities to come and stuff as well. But I feel like, it's a masterstroke, isn't it? She's someone who's like, she's a bit early 90s, but you need a woman's heel to go back and forth with Sable and potentially other people as well. Great little role for her, and yet she picked her spots really well in the match too. So great start here for the 2 women in the men's tag match. But we go from there to an Owen Hart promo. We have him with Michael Cole here, where, in fairness, they address the Steve Austin stuff, the elephant in the room, and Owen, very robotically and not particularly charismatically says that he's going to stay out of Austin's way, and Austin needs to stay out of his way. Talks about Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Come on, Owen, we've moved on now. He's Triple H. Come on. So he talks about going after his legs in a quote here we can get to. And also was somehow the European champion. Did I miss that when we did the housekeeping? I feel like I blinked and I missed it, and he's now the European champion. You can bring us back up to speed, mate.
Yeah, he won the. So if you recall in housekeeping, we talked about how Triple H said he was supposed to defend the title against him, but he got injured at that house show. But he says, "Oh, you're going to take me on for the European title next week on Raw." What happened was that Triple H had Goldust dress up as him. Goldust lost to Owen Hart, and SGT Slaughter said, "Well, that counts. Owen's the European champion." And Triple H was like, "Oh no, I've lost the belt without doing a job. Where did I get that idea from?" And Owen Hart has become the new European champion by virtue of pinning Goldust. And Triple H, it's revealed, obviously, had
Bischoff booking the show.
was trying He was trying to get out of having to wrestle Owen, so he's lost the title. Now he's going to have to somehow work on getting that back. And how is he going to do that, Benno? Because God forbid a member of the Hart family ever end their promo without screwing it up and going one line too far. Because Owen Hart's like, and then tonight, the main event. And Hunter Hearst, I'm going to bust your legs. How do they do it? How do they do it, man? It's like a It's like the reverse of having the cheat codes. Like they've got the perfect cheat codes to ruin a perfectly good promo with that one extra bust your legs.
The worst bit is on my notes. I've got gonna busy his legs, and I was looking at it going, what have I written there? That makes even less sense than what I would say, but honestly, fucking hell. And to be fair, it's not even it's a good promo he's ruining, isn't it? It's just, there's just something, even just in mentioning the way Steve Austin, because the fucking Survivor Series was really not that long ago. SummerSlam was really not that long ago. Like, just makes me not like him. He's just the Owen inside that, like, he's good at playing. Just comes out, doesn't it, as well, even. And he doesn't look his best either, as we talked about on the last show as well. It's all not a good run for Owen, this one. But hopefully they can turn things around as we go. Definitely.
Like, I kind of admire them trying to acknowledge it and including Owen with Austin as a way to say, look, we're the same.
Yeah.
4 months since the Survivor Series. That's the average gap between like a WrestleMania and a SummerSlam, and you're asking people to go like, yeah, forget about it, it's fine. Like it doesn't
literally
track,
the reason Steve Austin has done everything he's done for the last 4 months is because he broke his neck. It's like, I think I maybe just wouldn't have made the team. But anywho, more on that later. But yeah, that takes us, like I say, unfortunately, Sonny gets to come up next. After I bet you she was fuming about that to follow the Sable Pop. But like I mentioned, of course she's here because small guys are about to do a wrestle, and that's what we do. We trot Sonny out in these moments, including her getting on the mic and saying everything's big in Texas, but and doesn't get to quite finish that line. I don't want to know what she was going to say, but yeah, it's Taka Michinoku versus El Pantera here. We get a recap of El Pantera on Raw doing the maybe this is where Chad Gable got it from, the mask gimmick, and I know it's a lucha staple, but sticking the little weapon in the mask with the Brian Christopher assist. In fairness, Taka gets a bit of a pop coming out here, and of course, again, also Brian Christopher is here because we got to put a hat on a hat. But did they miss anything there from the build to this one? Because it does feel like every other cruiserweight that isn't Brian Christopher is a substitute for Brian Christopher because they're always wrestling Taka Michinoku. I mean, that's pretty much what the division is at this point.
Yeah, basically, it's quite. I think what like the video package attempts to do with Pantera is just shy away from the fact that like the Fed have already given up on this as a title. Like,
honestly,
they quite like Taka Michinoku and Brian Christopher's chemistry. Evidently, they're quite like, and so they should. Taka Michinoku, you're right. He does get a good reaction. Like, he sort of feels like a feature player in a division that isn't featured. It's very strange. Like, he has somehow risen above the lack of profile and respect the light heavyweight division gets, and obviously they don't trust anybody that isn't American to do the heavy lifting promo wise, and that's why Brian Christopher sits in there. And I mean, that's to their immense detriment when you listen to the commentary in this thing. Jesus Christ. Because it overwhelms everything about this match realistically, doesn't it? Getting Christopher on commentary with Jerry Lawler, with his dad. But yeah, like Pantera had already been Taka's partner turned rival. They would bring in and cycle in a wrestler here or there. Mr. Aguila, Papi Chulo, who would get the WrestleMania match against Taka Michinoku for whatever that's worth. He was like part of that rotation at the very same time. But it reeked of an idea that they've gotten bored of in record time. But then as we've kind of talked about since Ground Zero, not yet really figuring out how to manage these 3-hour in your houses. All of a sudden, the light heavyweight division is a bit of a get out of jail free card for them. So I think that's the only reason why it's getting this profile, is because somehow they cannot time these shows out at all with enough stories and matches.
Massively so. And like, to that point, they put it on here, and as has been the conversation about this division, they then regret it and then add other bells and whistles. I mean, I want to spend 15 minutes on some of Pantera's stuff in the middle of the match, but to your point, like, again, the opener of the match is Taka shining, Taka looking good, doing the old steamboat duck and a bit of a Benson Richards leg lariat in there as well. He throws in, some fun drop kicks. You get the big Taka dive in there, big 4-round corner drop kick, catches Pantera on top, like loads of exciting exciting stuff to get over that. He's this new flyer, Taka Michinoku. And as you said, in the background, unfortunately, you got JR ripping on fucking Lawler and Christopher being father and son. That bit's kind of funny. He calls him, I think he calls Christopher a Yahoo, which Christopher takes great offense to. And then I take great offense to some of the stuff that, Christopher and Lawler are throwing in here. I mean, I don't think vague racism even does it justice here. A few references to Japan, slipping yens to people, and the Mexicans get it as well. This is Dad and Lad's little racist day out, unfortunately, and it sullies what is, at least for this opening bit for Taka, gets the biggest reaction of anything in the match.
It is it's like mask off bigotry, which is it's bad enough, obviously. And we've always tried to talk about these things, like what was the sort of the standard of the time. But I don't need to tell you, if you go and watch a show, what the standard of the time was, because Jim Ross tells you what the standard of the time is. Brian Christopher, I'm not going to repeat the line, goes so far over what's acceptable with one line that Jim Ross cuts him off before he can finish his thought. He goes come on. And you're just thinking, hang on, if you're bollocking him there and then you're basically live producing this guy to not completely hang himself with acts of racism in 1998. Imagine how that sounds now. And to your point, I suppose it's not as important, but it is kind of, because it's the presentation. It does a lot to damage what, if you watch on silent, is quite an entertaining, dare I say it, WCW Nitro-esque cruiserweight match. A Nitro cruiserweight match threatens to break out here, and then you can never it's Pantera, isn't it? He does that tope con hilo headbutt onto Taka's back.
Yes.
It's absolutely insane.
When he's on the floor.
I've got
a list for Pantera. Because to me, this ends up being the conversation every time, doesn't it? They've got a cruiserweight division, but a light heavyweight division, and they just, they're just not it. They were half interested for a month, and now they don't care at all. And now it turns into, early days of all the WCW guys being on SmackDown, your Kidmans of the world, and it's right, those exciting matches you have on Nitro, no more of that. Shine, heat, comeback, let's go. And these matches, when they are good, and I think this is good, it's because they're just trying to break out of it. And Pantera, you mentioned that offense there, I've just got a list of stuff. He does that weird head scissor counter off the top rope to Taka to the apron, where Taka bumps off the apron to the floor again. That's a very 2026 move. Love that. Loads of fucking
it's a half and half bump on the apron, isn't it? It's an attempt.
So it's safe as houses.
Just falling wherever he falls. It feels real, doesn't it? That
totally.
He's sort of skidding off the apron.
It's awesome. He's got loads of boss backbreaker stuff in there. Every now and then he grabs a headlock because grab a hold, kid. You need to get heat. But the heat isn't coming. That's the problem here. The heat's never going to come. What he needs to do is do fucking wacky surfboards. Davey Boy Smith's gone down south now, mate. The surfboard is yours. And he does it 3 or 4 times in this match, doesn't he? All different variations. There's a point when he's literally surfing on Taka and having a great time. And it's that's what you want to see. That's the stuff. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be booyah heat. I know that is the story that works for the majority of wrestling, but it's not the only fucking story in the world. And that's the problem, because all of this has taken place within a heat, with no heat. And you get a bit of Taka fight back that, again, does get a bit of a cheer, but I think if they were just going back and forth through this entire thing, you get much bigger reaction. But I love that. I love that tope con hilo to the floor. Literally pop me. Backbreakers a go-go, top rope elbow, throws a tilt-a-whirl in there, all to silence. But it's fucking great, isn't it? I mean, that was happening in WCW too. That's the dirty secret. But there's a state, he does it Ron, doesn't he, off the top standing? Again, all this is all stuff that you weren't seeing in WWF at this period. I love this section of the match before Taka makes his big comeback.
And the thing is as well about Pantera, as you say, it's so weird because all of what you've just described, trying to pack this all in, is still happening in what we would in WWE terms consider the heat. It's you just described, but Goldust will grab a headlock or Mero will do a cheap shot. Pantera's version of that is 6 incredible Hurricane Ranas and a head drop, only for Taka to do a stomp clap comeback, as if to say as if the referee's just been told in the headset, right, go home now. It's right you are, flip it round, Michinoku driver, see you later.
Show out, kid.
It's as if Pantera's 18 moves could have been 18 different variations of a headlock, and it wouldn't have mattered. That would have been the list. It was all right, kid, 18 moves, treat yourself for the heat, and then go at the finish. Brian Christopher's going to get himself over. It is so weird, isn't it, to think you could use this template match and apply it to any other wrestler on the card, but they're not going to do the batshit stuff that Pantera tries with his few moments on a fed stage. I don't want to say moments of fame because that's not fair. Wrestlers can go and get fame anywhere they want, but like what is going to be a short run for him here. And to be absolutely fair to Taka Michinoku, by the way, I think he probably deserves more credit for being able to like understand where he could dial back things, but work on. Like, it doesn't surprise me that Taka Michinoku got over and worked in the WWF because he does get quite quickly about like getting that face around to the hard camera and selling like in those little moments where Pantera isn't doing something to him. You do kind of see Taka Michinoku doing the kind of Ricky Morton reaching through the screen selling. Yeah. And a lot of wrestlers that would come in that weren't of house style would never really pick that up. And it doesn't surprise me that Taka got over as a babyface the way he did. Like, I think he kind of he clocked something about the house style and took it.
Yeah, I think they've had him watching those tapes, literally. Like, he's definitely been watching Steamboat, like he does the Steamboat, like baseball slide through the legs that Steamboat always used to do. Like, there's little bits of, like, just traditional 80s, fists up kind of babyface stuff in there. And like you say, he mixes in, like, his flashy stuff, and he makes it work to an American-style match, because, as we say, all of the Pantera stuff is quote-unquote heat. But then Taka's comeback, I think it's like the last match we talked about him, and, like, they are at least getting over the Michinoku driver as, like, a bit of a kill shot. Because to your point, really, what does he do? Like, he gets a knee drop off the top in his comeback. It's after Pantera misses a moonsault, because of course he went for a moonsault. Fucking loved it. He counters a Rana, counters a power bomb with a Rana. Drop kick to the back of the head, Michinoku driver, go home. Like, it's like, and it again gets a pop, but unfortunately he's the only one in this division getting a pop. But maybe there's a reason to that too. Maybe there's is a method to that madness. But no, I thought this was a good match, but really what the crowd came to see was the sideshow, wasn't it? Unfortunately. So when Dad and Lad are cutting their racist stuff, at least you do get the happy ending of Taka doing a dive on both of them, which does get over, and then he escapes through the crowd and almost knocks over like 3 children. It looks like he's running away. DDP he is not, but yeah, that's obviously remains the focus. None of this wrestling shit.
I love the dive on at the Lawlers. I feel bad, really, because Taka had a kind of he gets a WrestleMania payday very next month, and we'll see him constantly on television in one way or another over the next, year and a half. But to get this version of the gimmick over, where you are just a fighting champion with cool moves and the ability to survive a heavy beating and make your comeback kid and all that kind of stuff, you kind of need to have this match every week on television with a different wrestler every time. And there's simply no way that the Fed are going to put that much commitment into it. That requires you opening up that Rolodex and having 20 talents that you can do. Well, for a start, you can barely get access to half of them because WCW will have the best of the best. Taka will have his own contacts, that kind of, and we get that with, the people that are about to come in very soon. But what chance does he really have? Because in order to train this audience, you're going to need it to happen all the time, not just once in a blue moon when you remember. And that's the only booking that Taka gets afforded, really. It's a shame. I love him. I love Taka Michinoku. Proper, built a relationship.
I'm enjoying this run again. I am.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed because of everything around it and knowing that it goes nowhere, but I'm still entertained by the man himself. And clear match of the night for me, but it gets worse from there. We'll have to say as we go. But we go to the AOL room. We have Kevin Kelly there as well with Terry Funk. And Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, or Chainsaw Charlie, and Cactus Jack, to give them their real names. They are asked, of course, about the 8th man. Go on about it being an unsanctioned match and not really caring who the 8th man is. Again, add them to the list of people who just aren't really that asked. And Owen Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin are just bloody good lads, is pretty much what they say there. I like that, though. They put over their partners and say that they're happy to go into battle with them. Terry Funk also gets a bit emotional, doesn't he, talking about the dumpster and how none of that's funny to them. Reference in the New Age Outlaws promo on the free for all, which I think was good, because it is funny, New Age Outlaws. I don't know why they had the camera in the dumpster, but whatever, still made me laugh. But I like that human face of it. That it's so funny. I didn't appreciate Terry Funk as Chainsaw Charlie in real time because if I'm honest, I was old 13, didn't know a lot about Terry Funk. He's the bloke who turned up at the Royal Rumble that time, really, and I'd seen a little bit of him on early 90s, very early 90s WCW tapes. But there's something watching it now as an adult. There's something very Terry Funk that's coming past the Chainsaw Charlie mask. We'll get to it more with the match as well, but I don't know if you're feeling the same way. Like, it's something, it's so daft, the whole gimmick, isn't it? Because Jim Ross is just constantly going, it's Chainsaw Charlie, who of course is Terry Funk. But like, like I say, if you didn't know that, or if you do know that, like, the Terry Funkisms really come out of him, and this is where he's at his best. Yeah,
there is quite a lot of, as you say, Terry Funk in this, but like, don't hold that against the promo. It's good elsewhere. I'm being obstreperous. I'm being a dick. He was good here. This, I think, like, I've gone on record as saying I don't particularly. I don't love the work of Terry Funk as much as a lot of people love the work of Terry Funk, right? But why I think this worked as well as it did was because the reason the two men ended up in the dumpster was because they'd had that lovely little moment between the two of them on Raw where they were allowed to call Terry Funk, and they were allowed to have Mick Foley say that Terry Funk was his idol, and it was as much an honor to be dropping an elbow on him in a dumpster because he was getting to wrestle Terry Funk in a hardcore match on Raw. Like, they'd done such a good job of establishing what a unique sort of student-teacher relationship these two wrestling oddballs had, with each other. This was if you recall, Benno, this was the time where we were all racing to figure out how to buy a copy of the King of the Deathmatch tournament and then pretending we weren't horrifically disappointed with the outcome because the show was a fucking insufferable drag. But like, it was like that was what this was. And you're building your own lore around Terry Funk and trying to go along with it as much as the Jim Ross is and as much as Mankind is. So I actually found this like sort of quite, I don't want to say affecting, but like, it was the first time, I guess, in this tiny little run that they were able to like tap at something deeper. The dumpster, we touched on it in housekeeping. The dumpster was like such, if you look at it, the bigger picture of WWF was like such a significant moment, wasn't it? Like if all the things that managed to achieve, and you can't like argue and say they didn't maximize it with the amount of replays and references and like, I know this frigging came out the hospital at the end of the very same episode of Raw, but in every other respect, they treat this as the big deal it needed to be. They got every bit of value out of it. You weren't allowed to just discredit it, were you?
I got goosebumps again, like in the recap video where it's like, the Jim Ross call, there's people in there, like the humanity of it all, like it's fucking brilliant. Again, fortunately, come out in dressing gowns at the end of the night, but like outside of that, like it's and I love the going back to it. And I also love, like, it's one of those things before we did this project, like I knew the WrestleMania match is the dumpster match, but I didn't realize how far away it is from the angle on TV and that No Way Out's in the middle. And it's still quite, still got a few weeks before we get there. So yeah, it is very effective, and it gives you a new match type, which is innovative even in 1998 wrestling. But speaking of innovative, mate, that takes us to our next match. And sorry, there must be a mistake on my notes here, mate. It says the Quebeccers versus the Godwins. That cannot be right. No, we're showing on screen a video for Shotgun highlights. Michael, what have we fucking missed here? Like, what is going on? As we have, the fucking Quebeccers, Jack and Pierre, they're known as here. Obviously, the former Jean-Pierre Lafitte still got the eye patch there, and obviously the former Mountie, against the Godwins. And we're still, Michael, and I'm going to give me game away here when it comes to the match itself because it's fucking bizarre. Just two heel teams having a match on a pay-per-view, mate, 'cause we've got nothing else to fill the time with. Like, this is a bigger sin, isn't it, than the fucking light heavyweight division? Never mind the fact that the Quebeccers are in not even 1987 WWF, mate, 1998 WWF. I would have failed that trivia question, mate. I would have not remembered this one bit.
I don't know if it's because I'm wearing a CM Punk t-shirt that makes me feel compelled to drop a pipe bomb, but I got a lot of things I want to get off my chest. I'm so glad you said the fucking Quebeccers, because my first notes are the fucking Quebeccers versus the fucking Godwins. Fuck me, right? This is a shotgun feud, which should tell you everything you need to know. And let's just pick apart, shall we, right, what happened within this shotgun feud. There was a match in which the Boricuas fought the Quebeccers, and the Godwins got involved, allowing the Boricuas to get the win over the Quebeccers. Subsequently, there was a match between the Godwins and the Boricuas, in which the Quebeccers interfered, so the Boricuas were able to beat the Godwins. So this is a match between two heel teams that have lost matches against the heel Boricuas and now hate each other on Shotgun. Jim Ross, that cheeky bastard, right, who I will give all the rope in the world to for the stuff he has to try and get over in WWF, trying to tell me that in 1998, this is a battle between ex-tag team champions. So there's a lot on the line here, guys. When Pierre, as you point out, is half amazing French-Canadian from WCW, half Jean-Pierre Lafitte with the pirate eye patch, and a fucking Mountie with a bloody, like, a terrible fake tan, a roid belly, and, like, a weird mullet that starts somewhere around his crown because his hair's running away from his eyebrows. What the fuck am I looking at here? Like, I've got a note on the end of this match because there was something... Basically, I think this match encourages you to wonder why you ever watched wrestling in the first place. So I want to
massively.
I'm gonna save a little note on it until the very, very end, just to see if we picked up on something here. But like, I can't stress how bleak I find the Quebeccers 1998 run. Like this like cuts me to my core. This run does. I've kind of feel like Kevin Keegan in 1995 here. I've kept really quiet about this. Like, I didn't want to mention to you that this was coming, right? Because they're in the tag team battle royal at WrestleMania, and then it won't surprise you to know that in terms of anything significant, that's a lot with the Quebeccers, right? And
maybe I remember that. Maybe, yeah. Christ.
This gear is a holdover from that WCW run as the Amazing French Canadians, right? Because obviously the original Quebeccers were not the Mounties, so that's got to go. They can't use that, you know. Bearing in mind that they've already, flogged that Montreal match to death where Jacques retired, like losing to, or Pierre lost to Jacques or something, and Jacques retired or whatever. So they've done all that. So they've got to like kind of change the gimmick up a little bit. But I just, like we talked at the start of this podcast about how if you were still into the Fed and all of a sudden your mates are starting to ask about Stone Cold Steve Austin or Sable, and you're a bit like, I've one of them actually, because why weren't you watching when I was watching? It's an act like the Quebeccers that I want to come back and be the 1994 Quebeccers to sort of justify why I kept watching. So when these two sad, bleak dicks turn up with not a single discernible quality between them compared to how charismatic and fun and interesting they used to be as the original Quebeccers, like this... We're going to talk about a lot of wrestling.
And as PCO now, like for young people watching this, we're talking about PCO. Like,
PCO.
Pretty much works for TNA still, GCW, like PCO.
Like, this boring, heatless shit, right, of an act when the whole point of them the first time around was that they were like charismatic to an infuriating degree, to the point where like the cheating was charming. It split Brett and Owen up. It split it cost the Steiner brothers the tag team titles. Johnny Polo was a blast. There was so much to love about the Quebeccers, short as that run actually was, right? So much to love about them. This was
the song, all of it, like the figures, like everything about it, like it was so fun, wasn't it? It was like, do you know there's two Mounties now? Like that was a conversation in my school. Like it was great. It was like genuinely addition by addition. Like I love that run. To be honest, I was young enough that I had a soft spot for Jean-Pierre Lafitte. Like I was probably the one person in 1998 going, what happened to Jean-Pierre Lafitte? Where is he? And then he's back on my telly, so I should be happy. But like honestly, I think, Michael, I think you broke the universe. I think this is a Mandela thing. I don't think this really happened. I think like you taking a victory that when Attitude Era started, that WCW was doomed, has just changed history. And now we live in the Man in the High Castle. And like they've just run, I'm not equating either companies or the Nazis, but I feel like things have been reversed. And I think we're going to get to the end of this and WCW are going to win the war. Because like how can these knobheads win this war when they're still doing shit like this? And like some of the rest of the stuff that's on the card. Like honestly, I don't think this happened, mate. I honestly think it's been created and history has been changed. I'm going to start a Reddit page about it, mate. We're going to get to the bottom of this.
I'm not a Godwin's guy at all, right? And certainly you watch a match like this, you'll not even be a wrestling guy. But like,
I can't wait to bury this.
Never have I needed like this Godwin's win so much on account of just how like the Quebeccers are just the Quebeccers, man. I don't even want to. They're not like this. Isn't the Quebeccers? Hashtag not my Quebeccers. This is Jacques and Pierre, right? Like
Jacques and Pierre, yeah.
Just two sad blokes, aren't they? That's all they are. Like just stuck. Man, Jacques hair. Like
it's the belly though, isn't it? Like hanging over like the tank top. Jean-Pierre
Lafitte looks shorter than he did when he was dressed as a
He does.
pirate. Like
He's got little blue socks. He just looks shit,
yeah.
don't he? He looks shit. They don't look like they're in proper gear. And like to that point, they don't have to be here. Like nobody had to book them. And then it feels a bit Public Enemy. It feels a bit ICP. It's like, well, they're fucking here now, so we're gonna fucking teach these cunts. Because like again, you've got two extremely unlikable heel teams to the point where Jacques is fucking talking about how about those Canadians to the fucking camera. So he's clearly going for heat. And the Goblins are clearly heels, so somebody has to fight from underneath and be situational babyface. And they know the way to kill these fuckers is to make them situational babyfaces. Because at the end of the match, like the Goblins can go back to fucking Taker at the domino table and be like, just haven't got it. Did you hear that reaction to the knobheads? Like, we got a bit of heat to be fair, but then, oof, Jesus. Because like, it is bizarre the decision they make to lay this match out. Like, I almost feel like, I know Arkansas and Texas aren't the same thing, but I think you might have had a shot at getting the Goblins cheered here. But instead, it is like it's the Goblins taking the majority of the match. Getting no reaction to anything that they're doing, by the way. Like double clotheslines, fucking again, tag arm work, nothing. Spinebusters, leg drops, nothing. And then, and again, I will say, poor Jacques trying to do hope spots here. Like he does like a shit head kick thing. He does a sunset flip that gets, again, nothing. And then honestly, I think...
He came off the top at one point. He's like, "What are you doing up there, Jacques? Get down!" Like
it gets worse because, like, honestly, I think the political hit is in. Like, I might say justice for the Quebeccers now because, like, fucking Hogg sits there with him in a headlock as if they're waiting. All right, the crowd are going to come in a minute. Let's just do the Randy Orton and sit here for 30 seconds as it somehow gets quieter, Michael, as he goes to the point where, and this is my favourite bit of the match, in desperation, Jacques Rougeau hits a stone cold stunner. Like, they try not to call a stunner, but it fucking is a stunner to break a sleeper. I literally have written down as sacked in the morning, mate. That's it. That's you done. Like, that's you done. As soon as it comes to Mania and Steve's got enough power, you're gone, mate. And that's pretty much what happens. Because, like, what is he doing? He's just coming up with shit, trying to get a reaction. And even a stunner doesn't get a reaction for him. Like, the layout, the design of this match, everything is dead. And that's not even getting into poor PCO's comeback and when he tries to kill himself with cannonballs and dives and all kinds, all to nothing. But honestly, I think it's set up for fail massively on their part. And the Goblins can be like, well, not our fault, sorry.
Yeah, the Godwins have taken a leaf or two out of LOD's book from working with them for a year, haven't they? Because now, was it Jacques hits that like really, really high angle pile driver on Henry Godwin?
Yes.
And then Henry Godwin gets to shake it off like Hawk. It's like, oh, that broke Henry Godwin's necklace. Oh, he's back up. Like, it's just so they can't even finish a thought before the Godwin's back off them. Like, you say about the Pierre Cannonball, that's the old Quebeccers finish. That used to fucking rule, didn't it? When he'd like fling Pierre off the top.
It was still cool to see. It was still cool to see.
Cool to see, but like they used to have big grins on the faces. It's so loveless now. It's like a relationship that's hit the skids, isn't it? Watching the Quebeccers here, like, it's dead. Like you're so right to point out how like they think they're waiting for the crowd to come, when in fact they're waiting for the crowd to come back from the toilets or the concession stands because they'd rather do anything but watch this match. Like it's abysmal. Dave Meltzer, I went and had a look back at like the Observer on this one. Often just to sort of like get a read of like what was considered fine at the time, bad at the time, good at the time, that sort of thing. And I just had it in my head. I'd remembered like every now and then he'd get one of his little funnies and he basically talked about, I didn't write down the quote and I shouldn't, but he basically said, to be absolutely fair to this match, like credit should be given. It'll be like submitted to the US government to be used as a way to torture prisoners in the future by watching it over and over again. You know, just where like, you just go off on one. It's a stinker.
I just don't understand what it's trying to be. It's bad athletic. I mean, it's not even saying like it's not that bad athletic because you know PCO still got a little bit of it there, you know. But like, it's just the layout. It's the idea of it. Actually, it's bad athletically from like a Jacques Rougeau point of view. But like, and the Goblins who are just clubbering through this entire thing again, being like, not my problem. But yeah, like it is. Like again, the ice cold hot tag from PCO as well. Like it's just a fucking icing on the cake when he does all that. You know, he runs through. You know, they do the cannonball. They get a big dive in there. They get nothing, and it's just a shit fucking clothesline from Phineas, isn't it? That gets the pin. It's just out of nowhere. Honestly, I think that knocks it down to half a star for me from not even like 0.75. fucking no. And to be fair, it actually does get a little bit of a pop. Maybe the loudest the crowd all the entire match, just because they're glad it's over. No one's cheering for the Goblins. They're just glad the match is over. Like, that's all it is. And obviously we get the post-match as well, which again lends credence to my burial theory here.
I think you might be right, yeah. The Godwins just bit like, because just getting like some colleagues out of the way when it comes to heel tag teams in the Fed. They're probably just thinking of where their place is on the pecking order and how to get some people out of the way, aren't they? I think you're right. Like, certainly with what they're given in the post-match. Because the Quebec, like, it'd be one thing for the Godwins to deck the Quebeccers with the buckets after the match because they're angry they got screwed or something. But the Quebeccers lose. They've got like, they've got no reason to pose. They just throw their arms up anyway, so the Godwins can hit them in the back of the heads with the buckets as well. So they've beaten them and left them laying, right? So again, Henry Godwin, I think, like high fives somebody that's holding up a Confederacy flag or something like that. But they're not baby faces, as you say. It's Texas, not Arkansas. Speaking of Arkansas, did you catch Jerry Lawler talking about Bill Clinton's recent indiscretions and saying, "Where's Lee Harvey Oswald when his country needs him?" That's not on.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. That's terrible.
That's not on.
I don't think you can say that. Could you say that in '98? So. Maybe you could. I don't know. So. Fucking hell.
So it's funny how the mind wanders, isn't it, when a match is so bad that you'd rather like listen to the commentary of Jerry Lawler than actually watch the moves. I need to ask you a question here, Benno. Is anything in your notes or has anything leapt out to you about this match beyond the contents of it, your viewing experience of it, watching it back, any extra little takeaways or anything like that maybe separates this, other than being absolutely diabolical, like anything that separates this from anything else on the card?
Visually. No, I mean, is it darker? Is it more? Is that just in my head? Is it the gear? I don't know.
It's probably is just emotionally. It was darker for all of us. Yeah.
No, nothing comes to mind.
So I'm not encouraging anybody after listening to this review to go and watch this match, and I'm certainly not encouraging you to have to watch it again. But you might want to go back and look at this just as a curio. For the entirety of this match, minute 1 to minute 100, or however long it felt like it lasted, they do not use the hard camera once.
Oh.
The WWF, the World Wrestling Federation, with the most staple of staple-fed choices, never use the hard camera. And I could only think of 2 reasons why that is, right? So think about that. Like, think about how in WCW, you've always got the cameramen on the apron and often the hard cameras. It's used, but like they don't mind it being incidental because of the views. They're like the Fed. You've always got the hard cameras equilibrium, haven't you? Regardless of like what's happening there, it's like, right, well, before we cut to this bit, we'll cut back to the hard camera, establishing over to the other side, whatever. It's not used once in this match. And the only 2 things I could come up with were were they so convinced this match was going to stink that they thought, should we experiment just to try and make this visually interesting? We'll not shoot it straight on, and we'll make sure, like, we'll create the movement because the wrestlers might not. So we'll only film them from corners. We'll only film them from low angles. We'll only like get under the wrestlers' legs, things like that. You never get a straight on shot of this match, not once. That's one reason. My other theory was, from their production truck, did they see so many people hard camera facing, heading for the bogs, heading for the food, heading for the merch, that suddenly all those seats cleared out and they thought, we can't have this looking as bad as it does. Let's just not allow the audience to stare at those empty seats for too long while they're watching this absolute shitter of a match. Like, but if you watch it back, it doesn't use the hard camera one time.
I think it's got to be that, hasn't it? I think they're like the red seats, aren't they? Yeah, and I think they do show when they look a bit empty. So yeah, that's probably exactly what it is. It's like, well, we literally can't find an area to zoom in on, so just don't use it at all. I mean, my conspiracy theory again was going to be this hit on the Quebeccers, like it makes them look shorter somehow by shooting them from like the cameras on the floor. But yeah, maybe that might be a step too far. But yeah, it's funny because it feels very Quebeccers. It feels very 90s WWF a little bit, doesn't it? Like it makes it. Now that I think about it, it makes it feel like a smaller room in a way. It feels like a Raw from 1994 or something, doesn't it? Like, I guess that kind of works, yeah. Funny. Right. Oh, the poor Quebeccers. What is this show, mate? Well, like you say, we get the double slot booker. And then we're off. And yeah, one more Quebeccers appearance. I'd forgotten all about that at the end here, but I'm sure it'll come flooding back when we get there on housekeeping. But yeah, we go backstage to Doc, asking the New Age Outlaws about the eighth man once again. They actually care, at least. I'll give the lads credit. They're bothered. They want to know. They want to know what's going on. Why is no one looping them in? Why is Triple H not calling them? Why is Shawn not calling them? And I always hated this as a kid, actually, because I wanted them all to be great mates. And I was like, come on, Shawn and Hunter, involve them in the decisions. They very clearly should be into X. And I would be proven right on that. But yeah, they say they're going to go and find out for themselves, which to your point on the pre-show, they just don't do. Like, they just don't. It's like, oh, well, couldn't figure it out. Oh, well, let's just have the match. Done. But apparently they care, and I'll take that, compared to the other people.
Yeah, such an incredibly weird way to promote this match, isn't it? It's like wrestlers are bothered, but they're not, but they also are. And even the ones that do care, you're not giving them any kind of satisfaction or payoff and everything. Like, they just lose track of what it is exactly they're supposed to be protecting, I think. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think they remember who's supposed to care about what. And as you say, like the Outlaws being looped in, I think is a good choice on their part. It's just a shame there's no follow through.
Yeah, and it adds to, like, that's the thing. Like, teenage me wants fucking Shawn and Hunter and the New Age Outlaws to all be great mates. But, like, that's an element of this match, isn't it? Well, they're not actually in the same stable. They're not going to be high-fiving. There is still a bit of tension there. It adds to it, doesn't it? Like, they're not part of the conversation, and they're mad about it. A shame. We get another Attitude promo there as well. It's the I know what you're thinking Undertaker one. The one that just says, this is fake, screaming in big letters on the screen, but it's not, because we're all hard and we had injuries. Apparently that aired on telly all the time, and the dead man had no problem with it. But anywho, we have that. And then we go to Michael. I think if you had a bit of a meltdown with the Quebeccers, mate, this is my meltdown moment as we get. And I'm certain you mentioned it at the end of housekeeping that this match was coming up, and I was still taken by surprise. We have and maybe it's the people on the outside, as we have Jeff Jarrett with the New Midnight Express and Big Bazza Wyndham taking on Bradshaw. As and I'm sure you can fill in the gaps, Michael. We're in the midst of the NWA story. And I know that, Michael, because they announced that this is going to be a 1 hour time limit match, which almost gave me palpitations at the possibilities of it. And also I know because Jerry Lawler's making Paul Bosch references on commentary. I mean, it's also bad that even Bradshaw gets a pop here coming out to go after Bazza, which there is some lore at least, and it's Texas too, but I don't know. Do we want to talk about that? Do we want to start with Robert Gibson's NWA jacket? Where do we go on this one, mate? What am I looking at here? Like, honestly, are you sure they win? Are you sure? Because look at this. Like, just look at it. Like
Tyson and Austin, Ricky and Robert. Like...
And how old are they? Like, I haven't looked it up. They must be like, they're a daftly young age, aren't they? It's an annoyingly young age. I'm going to have to look it up now and find out. But, like, to young me, they're 70. They're 70, and that's all I need.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that, like, if you Google I don't think I've got that one in my notes. I should have done. But I bet Ricky and Robert are younger here than we are now, or something like that. I'm pretty certain of that. Like... Yeah, like for those that don't remember, and you'd be forgiven for not, because it was so dumb. The Jim Cornette rants we profiled on a prior housekeeping, they actually decided to fold those into a storyline. And maybe they had this idea all along, I don't know. But they did one more Jim Cornette rant right at the end of December. And it was basically, rather than being about like kind of going in and shooting Cowboy on the NWO or on Shawn Michaels getting up to mischief or whatever, it was about basically how he thought wrestling was doomed and how it was like it needed grand sweeping changes. And he was going to do that. He was going to bring tradition back. Behind the scenes at the time of interest, Vince McMahon had actually asked Jim Cornette when they'd first spoken about this NWA idea if he could become the NWA World Champion. You know, the belt that Jeff would carry into NWA TNA, the belt that Ric Flair had held before the big gold belt. Jim Cornette said, well, there's no chance we can get that one, Vince, but I can probably get you this new NWA North American title, which Vince was like, aye, fine. All of this was apparently, per Cornette, I think, all at like 24 hours notice. So it just turns up on a Raw, this belt, on January the 5th with friggin' Dennis Coraluzzo, last seen crying about getting screwed in ECW. And this other guy in a suit, Howard Brody, just out of nowhere saying, oh, well, this next match, this random Raw match with Barry Windham and Jeff Jarrett is going to be for the NWA North American title. It's crap. It's dead. It's 3.5 minutes long. And Dennis Coraluzzo distracts the referee to allow Jim Cornette to hit Barry Windham with a racket. And like, Jeff, to your, like, I don't know if you recall this, but the stunner that Austin hits on Jeff as he's like celebrating, that's this match. So Jeff has just won the belt in 3.5 minutes, and Austin's already dropping him on his head and then mocking the strut. So I'll let you know everything you need about his NWA. The Rock and Rolls come in against the DOA and look a gazillion years old. You're going to make us all cry with a shoot age in a second. And then Bradshaw wants to be the next Blackjack to have a shot at the belt, at which point Barry Windham turns heel. He mistakenly clotheslines him at first, then reveals that the fix is in, and this version of the stable you see here with the first incarnation of Jim Cornette's NWA. I mean, yes, fair enough. Factions that started with the initials NW were starting to get a little bit played out.
I was wondering.
Part of 1998. But like, Jesus Christ, if there was ever a way to make the NWO feel hot and relevant all over again, it was probably by putting these fucking fossils on television together. Like the heel Rock and Rolls with Cornette. By the way, sorry, just one last thing, because I've rambled longer than anybody wants to care about the NWA anyway. The Windham and Jarrett tag team, not the Rock and Rolls, by the way, but the Windham and Jarrett tag team are so shit that when the WWF are trying to get over just how far the Legion of Doom have fallen, Windham and Jarrett are allowed to beat them. And the only reason that defeat happens is because it's like, God, the LOD really are finished. They must be if they're losing to the NWA like that. So already you've been put in as like these guys that are so crap that you're used to illustrate how bad and out of form act have become. Like Jeff made his in-ring return at Degeneration X, Benno. What the fuck are we watching here?
It's just getting worse, isn't it? It's just getting worse. Like, and he's with these fucking bums. Like, I knew it was coming, and I was still surprised. But you know this is coming, Michael, and you're still going to be surprised. I will do just to ask, Michael. You know, not a personal question, but you know, on this day that we're recording here in July of 2026, how old are you, mate?
I'm 41 years old, Benno. What about yourself?
Oh, okay, mate. I'm 42 years old. So yeah, that hurts, unfortunately. But yeah, Robert Gibson. 39 years old. Ricky Morton, 41 years old. That's one of them. Forgive the three. That's illegal, surely.
They look, honestly, man, like two wrestlers.
How's Gibson the younger one? Like, that makes no sense. I thought it was the other way around. Just checking my information. No, I am right. That's mad.
It is as if, right, they've argued about, it's as if they've never wrestled before and they're just big fans of early 90s Fed, and they've argued beforehand about if they're going to dress up as the Rockers or dress up as the Nasty Boys, and you've got this like lethal combination of the two in the aftermath. This ragtag charity shop looking act. Like the heels, by the way, hanging out with Jim Cornette, and poor Jim Ross is trying to sell how terrible. I still can't believe that Ricky and Robert are going with Jim. And it's like, Jim, I can't believe that you've decided to get Ricky and Robert work in 1998.
Yeah, no one cares.
Have a word.
It's unbelievable. Like, but you're right. Like, as mad as that sounds, and as much as that hurts us, that they're, you know, ostensibly younger than both of us. If we were a tag team, it would be the elder statesman in the ring. But like. As a kid, you're right. Like, these might as well have been 85. And, you know, ignorant WWF fan kid who'd seen a little bit of WCW in the early 90s, vaguely knew who they were, but, like, they might as well have been from the 20s. Like, this whole thing, just quickly on the NWA, just feels like... It feels like, I don't know this for certain. Maybe, you know, you got a bit more intel on it, but it feels like Vince Russo trying to be like, well, Cornette wants all the oldies back, does he? Well, here we go. We'll bring him all the oldies back, and we'll put him in it, and we'll fucking make him look like shit. And Jim Cornette not being able to be like, well, but not these oldies, not my best mates, the Rock and Roll Express. I guess I've just got it to go with it. Like, that's what it feels like to me. It feels like a fucking political hit again happening on TV, because there's no other explanation for this possibly being on TV. It is so shit, and I hated it at the time. It is the black. It's got the colour grey and brown written all over it. It gives me that emotional feeling thinking back to being a kid and how bored I was when this lot. Never mind the new Midnight Express who were coming out. Who, by the way, I did read in the Observer was originally planned to be Edge and Val Venus, so could have been worse, mate. Could have been worse.
And like in Cornette, you can tell Cornette realizes it's shit, but he's just doing it anyway, can't you? He knows.
Yeah.
Like, he knows that when the material is poor.
It's pretty well done, and it traps him a bit because he can't really bury it, can he? He can't really, like, considering the people. It's Barry Windham in it. It's the rock and rolls, you know. Come on, Bob Holly's a hell of a worker, you know.
It's the dreaded Russo McMahon pincer movement. It's a Vincer movement, isn't it, of the both of them? Like boxing him and Jim Ross in and being like, "Here you go, these are old shit. Enjoy this, so we can get on with the proper stuff that's getting over." It's same as you. I remember at the time, like. In a sense, as a teenager, it sort of worked because I don't want to say it was any good. I don't want to be like misconstrued here, but you hated it. Like, you absolutely hate. Get off my screen, you fossil losers. It's a type of heat, albeit not a particular money drawing one. Like, and the action was
should be NWA heat, not X-Pac heat. That's what should have got over.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder as well, you know, if there was any shred of the fact that by presenting the NWA as this like ancient dead league, like Shane Douglas called it dead RIP in 1994 when he threw the belt to the ground, like on the off chance anybody was still getting this misconstrued with WCW, was it just another way to try and stick a shot in? Possibly. Oh God! But you're only hurting yourself because you're subjecting
friendly fire, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, no, WCW is still at this point, even though the booking's gone off the rails, it's got two NWOs and it's got fucking cruiserweights and all the other stuff. It's got Sting and all that. Like, that is actually cool. This is like your product then becomes the one that's not cool. Like, if you're not careful. Luckily, Steve Austin's coming up the sides, but fucking hell, mate, they tested those. But I won't go long on the match. Like, Bradshaw jumps them on the aisle as the heels get thrown out, uses chaps as a weapon, gets a bit of a reaction. Does old John, the youngster, as Jim Ross keeps pointing out, at his 5 years of experience at this point, built around like Jeff going after his leg, because it's Jeff and also Cornette help him with that. Because he gets the initial tennis racket shot to Bradshaw's knee, gets a little bit of a choke in on Bradshaw as well, which leads to Bradshaw chasing them around the ring, and again Jeff Jarrett cutting him off there too. Jeff goes for the figure four in the middle stages of the match, gets countered. Bradshaw goes for an early version of his lariat, which goes nowhere. You do get, at this point, when they're trying to get the crowd going for Bradshaw, you get the typical Jim Cornette, like, banging on the apron, supposedly trying to get his guy going, but actually getting the crowd going for the babyface. I think we love that in Your House season one, and when we were looking at like the 1985 shows, feels like it's been 25 years. Don't be doing that stuff, Jim. We need to move on. But yeah, he tries, doesn't really get much, but yeah, Bradshaw gets a bit of a comeback, hits his big fall-away slam. Looks like he might be onto a winner. No, here comes Jim Cornette with the tennis racket DQ. And after all that, we get a non-finish too. To send everyone happy, though, we do get JBL beating they're like, keep calling him JBL, it's in Yocker, so Bradshaw beating up the lads, all the NWA lads with the racket, even slams Corny before the NWA, like the NWO, come back and get a beat down at the end. Before, in fairness, Michael, and this might be the nicest thing we say about the lads in 1998, LOT come out and look, positively the most current thing that I could be staring at right now, and like the 10 years has just dropped off them by being around these fucking losers, and at least you get that nice moment at the end. But was it all worth it, mate?
This is like the ultimate test of if the Road Warrior pop is still a thing, isn't it? Because if you can get a pop out of an audience after this absolute shit, there's still something there with them. Like dire and sad. That's what this is. Like, I haven't got a single nice thing to say about it. I thought the way Bradshaw dominated like the main body of the match, despite the idea that Jeff was supposed to take the heat, I think it spoke to like the political makeup of things at the time. Poor old Jeff, having to navigate what has become partly of his own doing, incredibly choppy political waters in the company at this time. Obviously willing to say yes to anything, but thankfully not for a great deal longer. Again, like, this was not one of the heartfelt goodbyes I was particularly thinking about. But this version of the NWA is a one and done for us because, to your point, we're about to move on to the new Midnight Express, and that's kind of like the best of what's left. You know, this idea that Cornette is going to be this great, stable leader. It's not happening. Jarrett's going to be done with them soon. The Rock and Rolls are going to be done with them soon. Astonishingly, if you can believe it, the NWA tag titles that the Rock and Rolls are wearing stick around a bit longer in the company. and like from memory, I'm trying to work out if you get to see them defended through like how it works out. But either way, like just
I can vaguely remember that. Yeah,
I can't like. I mean, I know why, like because you still what you're highlighting here is just how shallow this card is. We use the Rumble '98 as the great Jim Cornette piss take example of just how like down talent wise this show still was. It's a company massively on the rise on the shoulders of Stone Cold Steve Austin, but they simply do not yet have the resources to shore things up underneath. So you've kind of got what you've got. And I mean, if the last 2 matches aren't an illustration of that, a better illustration of that, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
honestly,
like at least
that's the worst one too we've ever covered. I think that's. I don't know if this is the worst show we've ever covered. We'll talk that at the end. But I think that's the worst one too that I can think of, where I just go, "What am I looking at?"
Yeah, I think I felt this with D-Generation X, and you know what? In hindsight, I probably would have felt it with Bad Blood had it not been for the fact that like Brian Pillman's death created a scenario in which like the whole mood of the night changed in terms of the undercard. But like, I don't think I ever fully realized just how bad the WWF were at switching to the 3-hour format. They have not got a handle on this one bit. No. You are not. I know they stuck a tenner extra on the price and they were suddenly making millions from these things, but you are not getting your fucking money's worth off these one bit. Consider that the last 2-hour show was Canadian Stampede, and then consider the quality of these undercards since it moved to 3 hours. Like, rotten. Like, there's been some absolute shit. There was no space for it on those 2-hour ones, and even then you were moving on to the next thing. It's just they are piling up some garbage on these undercards.
Worse than that, mate. 2 hours 36. Don't even get you 3 hours finish. Don't even cheapskating you there. Like, they can't even stretch you past 2 hours 40. Fucking honestly. Yeah. Again, maybe WCW should have won. We will revisit. Maybe Benno Hamflett season 3 might be something altogether.
Let's not say things we don't mean, Benno. You know.
I mean it. But anyway, we'll get there. Things will change. Don't worry. By the end of 1998, I will stop making that argument. Yeah, we go backstage, more eight man talk. It's so shit, this show. I'm having a great time talking about it, but I was dealing with food poisoning earlier. Michael knows behind the scenes, and I feel like fully energized, mate. Just I hate watching some of this fucking shite and having a great time talking about it. But Triple H and Chyna are backstage. Apparently the world's been ringing them wanting to join DX, but there's nobody that can match on. Okay, that's the narrative now. Fair enough. Again, so who cares is pretty much the lesson that you get here. The Will and Stinker is a handicap match, and this is where the book is passed, isn't it? As we have Michael Cole saying, well, that probably means that WWE officials are going to have to appoint somebody instead, and it's like, oh well, guess that's their fault and not our fault because we're the cool guys, and it's don't put it on us at the end of the night.
What an absolute shit show, man. So like, as the heels, Triple H saying he's more than happy for them to go 3-on-4. Like, what a terrible like pitch that is. As the heels will go 3-on-4. We'd rather go 3-on-4 than actually use the help of one of these bums in this. I mean, to be fair, if he's just watched that match, I get it. Like, if fucking Barry Windham or Robert Gibson's going to be what I'm left with, I'd rather go 3-on-4. Thanks, Michael Cole. But did you, that cheeky bastard Triple H as well? Like, you mentioned about Sid being one of the named guys, and obviously the rumors that maybe somebody from WCW or ECW was going to jump. Did you hear Triple H long before he started wearing the leather Kangol or slicking the wet hair down and trying to grow his beard in, called DX the one true franchise in wrestling?
I heard that, yeah.
Fuck arsehole. Fuck you, Paul. Like that.
They know what they're doing. The triple threat. It's all along the same lines. But yeah, we go from there. We have a nation promo. Speaking of cooler things, thank God for The Rock, mate. Thank God for The Rock. As things do turn around a little bit here in the show. Obviously, we're telling the story. It's ascension within the nation between Rock and Farouk. I love the opening to this where Doc's like, well, obviously I need to ask the leader about this match that he's going on tonight. And obviously Rock thinks he's talking to him and tries to talk into the mic, which obviously Farouk does not like one bit. And continues to fume as he cuts his promo. And again, this is meme number 2, maybe even number 3 for this night. Mm-hmm. While Rock mugs of the camera. You've all seen it. The eyebrow raise, the pull of the faces, all of that stuff. I feel like that gets mostly zoomed in on now, doesn't it, when the GIF is shared?
Yeah.
I think I vaguely knew it was from Nation era, but I forgot it was from this bit of Nation lore. Like, you search Rock on any GIF website, you're getting this one with his eyebrows going, his eyes going. My God, we've talked about the Manchurian scenery. We're going to get into even more of it when it comes to the match, but I was dying watching this one back, and yeah, obviously seen it a million times before as it is.
This is gold. This is solid gold. And you know, the meme of, as Benno, you point out with the eyebrows, that undersells how great The Rock is here, right? Because he's so obnoxious with his movements that there's one point where Farouk threatens to whoop his ass, right? If he doesn't calm down. Like, Farouk is doing the shoulder brush, he's doing the belt gesture. And then when Michael Cole says, and of course, Rock, you hit Ken Shamrock with the chair, The Rock's just like, wham, just like miming what it was to take Ken's head off with a chair, and all the nation nodding in the background. Yeah, he's all right. And Farouk's like, I'm fucking sick of this little twat. Like, so it's absolutely fantastic work. Like, I know that, like, I don't know, sort of wrestling is it's a shared experience, I guess, and like characters have to fall and others for some to rise, right? And let's be realistic in this image. Like, the Nation are going to go on to have a great year in 1998. And I'm looking forward to talking more about them. But like, let's look at the facts here. Like, ultimately, 4 characters have to be sacrificed to different degrees in order for this one to absolutely shine. And then you watch a single segment like this where the guy's not even allowed to say a single word, and you're like, yep, that's how that works. That's how that works. If you can correctly assess the power of one guy, never mind sacrificing these 4, like, to the push of The Rock, sacrifice another 10 guys, sacrifice Billy Gunn's singles run if you want, sacrifice Chris Jericho's debut on Monday Night Raw and all the other things The Rock gets handed to him on a silver platter, because he is absolutely irresistible. I almost like kind of, we've kind of like tiptoed around this idea, haven't we, of like how Rock gets the task at hand quicker than Steve Austin does.
No, totally.
Like, he reads the tea leaves. Like, Austin is the guy. I don't think that's up for debate when you watch this. But November 1998,
until 2000.
Deadly Game. I'm halfway through listening to a certain conversation about that at the moment. I'll give you some thoughts off air in the DMs. By the time they arrive at November 1998, where it feels like the two are kind of on par with each other, you can see how it's happened so quickly, because he cannot waste a second out there, The Rock, can he? His development and his progression is incredible.
You can't look anywhere else when he's out there. I half joke about like that. But I'd say, like, I honestly think, and this feels like I'm trolling you now as well as trolling Matty, but like, I think he gets it quicker than Kurt Angle does. That's the Kurt Angle talking point. I think it should be the Rock talking point and the Kurt Angle talking point. But like, it's like, you can't be stressed enough that we are watching, what is it, February 1998, Survivor Series 1996, November 96. We're barely over a calendar year. Mm-hmm. And this is what we're getting. He is fucking, in every way, just like every party just wants to see what he's doing next. And God bless, I say it every time, and I think until this story's done, I'm going to keep saying it. God bless Ron Simmons for being up for it. Like, because very clearly, like, in stories, eating his lunch, innit? But like, clearly, like, it's all designed to get him over. Like, they're hammering it up massively, because it's about him, really. It's a vehicle for him. Ron knows his career is nearish the end. Maybe not quite the end, actually, but he feels like it's near the end at least. And he wants to get The Rock over very clearly, because, like, when they come out, like the 4 of them, like all walking out, like it's like the five of them all coming out, Rock stood at the back. Every eye in that arena is looking at him. Every single one. The camera is looking for him. The reactions are for him. It's all the chants are about him, and the rest of the nation are there. Like, he is everything in it. Like, he is unbelievable. And that, again, I don't mean to skip past just his amazing performance, like you say, in that segment, and rolling his eyes at Farouk and reacting to everything that he says. Like, the cheeky fucking cunt as well. To have the brass neck to do it too. Like, it's so fucking brilliant, and it's so streets above anything else outside of Austin, in fairness, that's going on this telly right now.
It is such an incredible tour de force from The Rock that you forget that like Farouk got that second life in the APA. You feel like you're watching the old man being put out to pasture, don't you? You genuinely like.
I think he saw it that way at the time, and then got like the second lease of life. Did people
figured it out? Yeah,
but totally.
Like, it's and like we're going to talk about it maybe a little bit in the match. I've got a couple of things in my notes, but what I kind of admire, I guess, about just how this is the Rock show is that like if you're, and I'm going to use his name here, if you're D'Lo Brown, you then have to look at this and be like, right, I am getting an elevated platform here. How can I make the best of it? And then you watch this match, I think, is a good example of somebody being like, right, already Farouk is giving up his entire gig here for the benefit of The Rock, but this is suddenly, out of nowhere, a very high-profile spot. And already, I'm the guy that got backdropped onto a pickup truck. I'm the guy that was getting double stunned. So I'm going to be the guy that's going to get my shit in when the bell rings. And like, I kind of admire that for D'Lo as well. That's like wrestling pretends to be a meritocracy when it's not one really. But I think this is an example of the meritocracy in action. I think the cream is rising to the top. And if you want, like the Godfather, Karma and Mark Henry aren't doing fuck all with the moment, are they? But D'Lo,
I think Mark Henry gets in. Like, he barely tags in this entire match, does he? Like, it's like very clearly been left to the other boys, you know.
But yeah, I kind of admire the fact that like something is happening here, and it's down to the wrestlers to decide how much they want to do with it.
Mate, if you stopped me in late 1998 when I was just that touch older and I thought I knew what I was looking at when it comes to work rate and who's the best in the ring, I thought D'Lo Brown was the best wrestler in the world. Like, it was just like he does loads of cool moves, and he's almost as cool as The Rock, at least in my head. And like, he takes that like junior member of the nation like on like seriously, and that's true of the match. Like, I won't waste time. Like, the opening of the match is just typical multi-man, different combos. But I think it is notable that it's D'Lo that's leading things off with Skull, and then it's D'Lo with Ken Shamrock, and then you get other nation members tagging in and out, don't you? And somebody on the other side tagging in who I can't wait to talk about as well. But then it's D'Lo. D'Lo is, it's like when you have a rumble, and I know, I'll bring it up a lot. But when I was wrestling in 07, like when we did the first rumble I ever did, like, and in it, I found out that like throughout a 30-man rumble, there's always someone in the ring who's holding it together. At least that's how it was done until, agents and stuff like that. You had your worker, and you could see it as a fan too, couldn't you? But it was interesting seeing it, like, oh, right, there's always got to be at least one of those guys in the ring to make sure everything holds together. That's D'Lo's role in this match. He's constantly back in there. Camo might come in and do a couple of fucking elbows and whatever. Mark Henry might flirt with getting in the ring, and then probably not really. But it's D'Lo who's taking all of the offense of the baby faces. It's D'Lo, isn't it? And, to that point, we've got to talk about the bull in the China shop, which is this the last Ahmed Johnson we're going to get on these shows? And it feels like bonus Ahmed Johnson, because I feel like that might be the fourth time I've said this, and I still believe it might come again. And again, big T, maybe we could look at some WCW, but my God, like, it's sad at the same time, because, they killed him by putting him in the nation, then taking out the nation, and now he's just on the babyface team. But he's still fucking Ahmed, isn't he? Like, speaking of D'Lo, like, he gets a great slam in on Mark Henry. Does Ahmed Johnson? Mark Henry hates taking that. Face plants D'Lo. I don't even know what the move is. And then D'Lo weirdly winds up on top. D'Lo goes for like a frog splash off the top, and Ahmed doesn't seem to know it's coming and just rolls to the other side of the ring. And D'Lo's just like, well, I've got two choices here. I either get down and look like a dickhead, or just go for it anyway. And fair play to him. He still hits it, doesn't he? And Ahmed's got no fucking idea it's coming. He's fucking over. It's basically, that's pretty much all Ahmed does the entire match. But it's fucking beautiful while it's there. And God bless D'Lo, tying together the conversation for holding things together with him.
Is this the first ever in recorded history of pro wrestling shoot frog splash? Because D'Lo...
But why is he down? He hits the offensive move. I don't understand.
D'Lo has to use the frog motion in order to clear the amount of ring he has to, because Ahmed, as you say, has no clue what's going on and has rolled onto his side. So D'Lo frog splashes. Imagine like belly on bone, right, with full connection between these two men, and Ahmed just looks done. Like, we've talked about him like carrying the extra weight, and he's added elbow pads and knee pads. He's got the Robbie Fowler nose strip on by this point. He's got the earrings, which Jim Ross despises. Like, it's just every element about it. Like, it's there's various points in which he doesn't look like he's on speaking terms with his partners. Like, they're kind of like communicate with one another. You asked the question, so I'll answer it. I think, to try and soften the blow of this moment, we've tried to say goodbye to Ahmed before, but this truly is our good night, sweet prince. We're losing Shawn and Ahmed on the same show, Benno. I don't think we could have prepared for that, going back to the heavy days of the People's Posse. On the very same show where Sid was a teased mystery guest, the third member of the People's Posse, we're losing the other two as well. This
and
is
what he is in course, unbelievable.
This is Ahmed's very last match in the WWF, because it's not just his last match on pay-per-view, it's not just his last match with us, it's last match with the company, because there's been various issues and sort of like behavioral misdemeanors and the like, and all this kind of the heat he had backstage in the locker room and the like, to the point where he's supposed to work the following set of Raw tapings and simply doesn't. Like, the relationship has become untenable. Ahmed is done. And to that point, this is his last match in wrestling, full stop, until the January 17th, 2000 edition of Nitro, when he beats Booker T following his return as Big T. This marks a 2-year gap from the business, full stop. Like, Ahmed is just never forgotten, but the man is gone. Hard split after this.
Is it bad that I still don't believe you? I still feel like there might be one. I don't know how. I don't know how we could do it. Cage match is wrong, Michael. No, he's up again.
I was convinced he had to have one more, because he'd just gone to the trouble of getting Ahmed written on his boots. Did you see it? Bless him. He was trying again. Oh.
It's funny, innit? Because like, we started the whole Ahmed journey. Like, we meant it. We weren't being ironic. We were like, honestly, to us as kids, at least he could have been Steve. That's how much we felt for him. And maybe that was exaggerating the point a little bit, but he could have been big time. He could have been something. Yeah. But it does feel like now at the end, it's like, you almost, like, even through the bits I mentioned there where I'm laughing along with it, you maybe see a bit more of what they also. It feels a little bit like, now that the bloom is off the rose, that's their fault. They've taken the shine off him. They've taken the love out of old Tony, but like, I can't really get mad at that either. Like, I almost want to see it. I want to see him in the WWF in 1998 and then 1999. But I think the character has been killed, hasn't he? Like, narratively, what's his motivations? I don't understand. Why did he join the Nation? He didn't even turn on. They turned on him. Why am I supposed to cheer for him? Like, it's just, he's dead in the water, isn't he? Like, it's hard to deny that, as much as I would have gone harder with him early on.
I think it's funny that you mention it in the context of our podcast, because I think this is one of them situations where both things can be true. I think it is devastating to just accept glumly that we've reached the end of the line with Ahmed. And yet, like, there are hundreds of wrestlers just in the timeline that we've covered alone that haven't left memories as indelible as some of the ones from Ahmed Johnson. It's not easy. True. It's not easy to imprint yourself on people's brains and fans' hearts in the way that Ahmed Johnson did. And to your point, it isn't a piss take early on, is it? Ahmed Johnson's fucking class, like, all the way around, like, total package of a WWF superstar for quite a while, warts and all. And like, we have a laugh at the botches, and we have a laugh at the fact that his arse is eating his trunks every time he's out there. But like honestly, when you cut to the chase, and you have when you have him and Shawn at the Survivor Series, or like when you have him in bloody LOD Spikes finally fighting off the Nation and stuff like that, it's class. Like, it's just earnestly class. It was the summer of '97 where he finally got less cheers than Steve Austin, but up until that point, let the record show that he was still getting some of the loudest pops. Like, people believed in him for the longest time. It's not just irony with Ahmed, is it? It's definitely both. Absolutely.
And people say that about like Sid and stuff, and I feel like with Sid there is like a degree of irony. Maybe there's a degree of irony with Ahmed, but also, he had something you couldn't teach in those early days, and I stand by what I said back then. Like, it can't have been that hard to tell him, mate, just like, maybe don't kill people, and maybe, don't kill yourself, and just that little bit of fine-tuning instead of the boys' club way it was dealt with. It seemed to be like, and, people, unfortunately, like Triple H and others, using their power to get him taken out of matches and people don't want to work with him and all of that stuff. I don't know. But there we go. We'll always have his movie work mates when he played Chuck Knight and that made for TV movie. You can watch that in there. Again, when people get the WCW run at some point as well. I was always mad about that when they did Big T versus Booker T for the name T. And then, of course, in WCW fashion, they came to Manchester for a house show. And he wasn't announced as Booker. They just called him Booker T because they were like, well, Telly doesn't matter. The storylines don't matter. I was like, come on, lads. At least make the effort. Anywho, I would have taken Big T turning up, though. Speaking of people who did turn up to that, though, Ron and Don Harris, they were in this match as we had a lot of middle and back and forth in the middle. I'd say the crux of the story in this match, and I wonder if it's the point you were going to mention earlier, is it's like Rock picking his moments in it. It's Rock coming in. When it's fucking Farouk and Ahmed, it's Rock it gets in and gets the spine buster. Like, when it's Ken Shamrock, who's like on the ropes a little bit, it's Rock who comes in and takes a bit of advantage, and that goes all the way through to, like, again, D'Lo's getting his fancy stuff in, but Rock's getting his stuff in too with the people's elbow. You then get, like, I love the juxtaposition of, like, you know, the beaten down skull, and like I say, D'Lo does like that frog splash elbow, that's cool. Rock does the people's elbow, that's cool, and then Farouk's just an old man who's just boring around. But, like, I think it works in a story because he gets caught. And then it's Rock who has to get in to save it. It's Rock who then has to, you know, he cuts off Skull. And then, unfortunately, he gets caught by Skull. But he's fucking smart enough. He's a fucking heel. He's a proper heel. And he uses it, doesn't he, to get Skull into position to basically just punch him in the fucking knob, which is, you know, smarter than what Farouk was trying to do. I really feel like they're trying to prove a point with the story there. And, you know, it's Rock using his smarts to use the lads on the outside as a bit of a distraction there. And I think that's kind of, it's that ebb and flow, isn't it, of those two throughout the match. And yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't really go anywhere. Bit of an English heat with Kama, D'Lo in a lot. D'Lo misses a moonsault. He was watching the Takumi Chinoku match, which gives Shamrock his hot tag. They have a big old 10-man brawl. I feel like the pop that gets has got the main eventers backstage fuming, going, we're going to do that spotlight to your knobhead, stop it. And then we get Shamrock with the belly-to-belly on Rock, armbar, and then transitions into the ankle lock. And it's Rock who taps out, which he can do, I think, at this point in his character, although it does feel a bit jarring, considering how over he is and how protected he would become. But yeah, all of that to set up the Rock and Farouk story, and I'll let you talk on it, and we can get into the post match as well, which I think is just important because we know who the main characters are in this match.
Well, narratively, I think it's quite elegant. Like, knowing what we've got to come, like within a sort of a month and a half from this, like the whole point is like the matches and the segments are designed to have the Rock very gradually, like, be sure the moment he's going to like turn on Farouk, he needs to make sure that he's got his guys with him. So like a lot of this match is laid out to your point about the Rock being smarter. And if you're like treating all this as real, that's D'Lo and Karma, and especially Mark Henry, who was recruited by the Rock, thinking, oh, he's all right, this guy. Maybe Farouk is a bit of an old man, you know. So they've got to make sense of that along the way, and I think they do a really good job of that. Within like the work isn't much to write home about other than D'Lo, but the story that they're telling with the way that these characters interact absolutely does make sense. And just it struck me a lot with watching Ken Shamrock here, like, and I guess like a little bit like Sable in the opener as well. That last housekeeping where we were in sort of like the dregs of sort of December, post Montreal November and December, and like either side of DX in your house, there was such a massive gap between this very tiny select group of wrestlers, basically Steve Austin and a couple of others, and then everybody else, and how on earth you were going to like put a card together. And as this pay-per-view is proof of, you can't. There's not enough hot stars. There's not enough wrestlers. But it's pretty exciting to see The Rock becoming one and Ken Shamrock becoming one underneath him. And like how much we praise the push of the Outlaws. When it connects and when it clicks, it's brilliant, isn't it, at this point? Yeah. Like, they're a long way off having a roster full of them. We've still got a way to go yet before we get to that point. But increasingly, you can see the ones that are going to matter more. We can allow the DOA to fade into the background, but we need Ken Shamrock to come to the front. And like the difference is becoming much clearer, isn't it, between the stars that they're making and the ones that it's time to get them the fuck out of the way.
Even in Ken Shamrock as an example himself, like main event at DX was probably a step too far for him, wasn't it, at that point? Mm-hmm. This role, though, is the Ken Shamrock. Oh. This is the role in that fucking squad of players that we get in 98, 99 into 2000. This is where Ken Shamrock fits, isn't it? Like, this is his role, like centre midfielder, I don't know, and they were trying to play him as a striker at the end of 97, but like, he's perfect for what he is. He's a so memorable. And like, again, it's the haves and have-nots in this match, isn't it? Everyone else is there really to make up the numbers. It's about Rock's story. It's a little bit about Ron Simmons. It's a bit about D'Lo, but it's also about Ken Shamrock, like on the babyface side. Fortunately for Ahmed, he's head and shoulders above the fucking DOA scrubs, isn't he? So yeah, that's an important point as well. But yeah, to the point, again, story about obviously Rock and Ron ends with Rock leaving the nation. You got Rock blaming Farouk. You got Farouk blaming Rock. We got a bit of pushing and shoving, which I liked. It wasn't just Rock and Farouk pushing each other. It was kind of like Farouk, everyone's just a bit mayhem, aren't they? And everyone's trying to calm it down. So Rock goes to try and walk off and leave them all to it. And again, power play. Wants the lads to follow him, doesn't he? Which is a very interesting point with what's to come. In the end, Farouk gets his way. He's like, fucking get back in here, gets him back in the ring, and makes them all pose. And again, he's not playing for comedy this time, but Rock is not happy, is he? On the end of that line, and is the last to throw up the fist too. I can't wait for what's coming. Part of me was like, I remember when it happens, but part of me was like, does it happen here? And I'm wrong. Like, it felt like the setup. It could have been the moment. It really could.
Yeah, he spits when he throws up the nation salute, doesn't he? He's not happy. All is not well.
Yeah, God bless you in the front row. I noted that. I was like, fucking hell. Someone's like, oh, man.
That's right. But I, like, as you say, that little stress test of if he's got the guys on side yet, or are they still going to listen to the old man Farouk over listening to me, and how important that is. Almost like The Rock might need to do something to curry favour with his nation friends, just to get that little. Maybe we'll talk about that in the next housekeeping.
Do the whole episode on that one, mate. And I'll present you with a picture of me. Be great. Maybe I'll do that to Matty, actually. Be a better guy. But yeah, great stuff. Rock's not happy. No one's happy. And obviously leads to a fun little place. But speaking of business picking up, we get a Steve Austin promo here. Mm-hmm. Also doesn't care about the 8 man. But he said it'd be fun to beat anyone's ass anywhere. And as we keep saying with the babyface part of Steve creeping in, he's like, but if you do it in Texas, well, you're really doing something then, which gets a pop. Weirdly, it goes to Jerry Lawler at ringside with Steve Austin's high school report card for some reason. Don't really understand what that is. Doesn't play well with others, apparently, it says, but that's weird. Yeah. But the Austin promo is solid, and to be honest, this whole show feels like a house show. Feels like the type of thing they play halfway at the in Manchester to get you to cheer or boo whoever they wanted at who's coming out in the next match. But I think you need to do that with Steve Austin, lads. I think he was getting cheered out of the way.
I thought that, yeah. My 2 notes were that Austin was wearing his own trademark brand polo shirt that I desperately wanted to buy. The little skull there with the buttons up the middle. And just getting...
IT Steve. Steve from IT.
Steve from IT. Just getting I mean, to be honest with this show, you probably should turn it off and turn it back on again and see if it makes it work any better. But how panicked are they that this surprise member's going to bomb, that they have to get Steve Austin to do like a brown nose in it's good in Texas promo. I think that's really telling. Why would they waste a pop of even seeing him for the first time? It's just weird. Oh shit! I think we've really fucked this one up, lads. Can we get Steve to do
remind them Steve's coming out?
Yeah.
Well, we go from there into our semi-main event, which is the aforementioned Kane versus Vader. Again, really trying with these Vader videos. We got the video recap again that tries to make him look better than he is. And the Kane video, maybe we should mention it here, actually, because we've talked about the match, but I don't think there's much structurally to break down. But yeah, they obviously had the recap video of Kane lighting the casket on fire at the Rumble as well. Obviously, big story point that runs alongside everything we looked at on housekeeping too. Undertaker obviously missing in action, which we covered on housekeeping. There's also a bit of footage here which I hadn't seen before, or I couldn't remember seeing, of Vader doing his own version of the tombstone, like that weird reverse tombstone, the Ganzo bomb in it, from All Japan. And I enjoyed that too, and also the voiceover. I mean, were my ears deceiving me? I thought, was it Todd? The line at the end, but it's it could be no way out of Texas. It sounded a bit Todd. Maybe it's just one of the other lads who sounded like him.
I thought it was Michael Cole, but I need to go back.
You could be right. You could be. Yeah. I only caught it at the very end. I didn't get a chance to rewind back, but yeah, he had at least had the Todd inflection. If it wasn't,
did you find it jarring because they were showing old footage of Vader as the monster before Kane became the monster? Hearing Vince McMahon back on commentary, that already feels of a different time, doesn't it? Hearing Vince doing Fed voices and oh my goodness, look at that, what a maneuver. hearing that in the middle of a video package when we've kind of seen that character leave the desk outright. I thought that was quite notable. That Vader Gonzo bomb, absolutely brilliant, man. Like a sign of things to come for this match, really, because like it's not necessarily about anything getting a great deal of heat, but it's quite impressive watching some of the stuff these two do to each other. Do you know what I mean? Like the audience don't give a shit. I wouldn't say it's a good night for either of the characters, but I cannot fault what they try and attempt here in this one, even if I wouldn't necessarily call it a massive success.
Yeah, I mean that's I mean, we might as well jump right into it. That's like kind of my take on it. I liked it, to be honest. Like, I don't know what it felt like. It just felt different, you know, from the start, having them immediately go like face to face. And again, I'm joking about like trying to build Vader for this monster versus monster match, but it kind of felt like it, and it felt at least in that moment the crowd kind of like bought into it, didn't they? And like, I feel like, and obviously immediately going into the brawling as well and bombs, and yes, the crowd kind of waned as they went, which we can get into. And yes, some of the bombs don't land as much as you want. Yes, maybe Vader should be selling the chokeslam more than he does once we get there as well. But like, this felt different. I didn't love it like I loved the Shamrock Vader match. But like, it felt different enough that it did scratch that little itch in me of like, oh, what Vader could have been in WWF. Maybe there's still a little part of me that's like, despite the big fat loser, despite him flirting with Sonny earlier and missing the line for his own fucking catchphrase, like maybe something like this, if he was more over than he is at this moment, could have worked. It's an interesting match for Kane as well. We can as well say, I think it is.
Yeah, it's
like it's a match, isn't it? You know, he hasn't had one.
Yeah, I was going to say, in some respects, it's like a bad sign of things to come, really, because I think when Kane's trying moves out, I'm not sure the fans really want to see it. So I wonder if like
true,
they dial a bit of that back by the time he's actually wrestling the Undertaker, and they make it a bit more character based. Like I could scarcely believe what I was watching, to the point where I had to wind it back and watch again. Did you see Kane go from the bottom to the top rope in one vertical leap like Rob Van Dam to hit that flying knee? Fucking hell. Like, you don't see him do that again. As that's obviously a notice. Slow it down, kid. Like, because there is stuff he does. I'm not saying he goes like cruiserweight division or anything like that, but there's a lot of stuff he does in this where he's just trying stuff. And because Vader's such a big base, he's obviously just called a spot and been like, right, that's what we're doing then. And like, Vader like allows him this. It's 98. I think he realizes at this point he might as well just like get the project over. Like, I think he bumps quite valiantly for him here. You know, I think he allows Kane to get a lot of his shit in. Like there's a bit with like a fire extinguisher where like Vader's trying to use it to get out by like blinding Kane. That's the only real thing he gets on him. And even then, like the power bomb, Kane like kind of bumps like on his arse, and then Kane's just able to get up straight away. And it's not really like like Vader's ever in it. So it's so much about Kane's offense that I wonder if this had the detrimental effect. And the note after the fact to Glenn was, to be honest, mate, we need more zombie Undertaker bullshit from you. Like that stuff, like the crowd didn't go for it. I don't think that. Like, maybe they were right, by the way, but the way that the crowd stopped making noise does make you think, well, hang on, this is the first time we've seen Kane and he's not been that over. Yeah. Like, and I wonder if there's a bit of tweaking that actually needed to happen there. But I will say, as a standalone thing, I quite enjoyed it.
Same. That they're the bits I enjoyed. It's the early stages when they're just going back and to be fair, you're right, Vader doesn't get a lot in, but what he does get in is the stuff that Vader's good at. It's the punches, isn't it? It's like, and Kane has to sell it a little bit. Maybe that's again the road agent. No, like we shouldn't be doing that, lads. Like it shouldn't be as, because it's pretty even Steven at that point, isn't it? Until Kane takes over and then takes the majority of the match, and it's those little moments, as you mentioned, that Vader just about manages to stay in it, and then outside of that, I think where it's less interesting to me is those moments where, like, clearly Glenn is just experimenting, going, like, what do I look like when I wrestle? Like, what do my matches look like? And the commentary is, like, going to that length too, isn't it? It's trying to go, oh, we've seen his brother do that. And it's like, oh, yeah, Kane's shit clothesline off the top where he lands on his feet that I've never liked. Like, oh, I guess that's an Undertaker clothesline, or it's his version of it. To me, it was just a move Kane always did. And it's like, yeah, clearly, like, he's trying to put together, what do I look like when I wrestle? Like, what do I look like when I have to be a bit more back and forth than just squashing somebody in 30 seconds? And that's the bit that doesn't really work, does it? Because you're right, I don't know if the people necessarily want to see it, because once they get to, like, I think it only runs about 10 minutes, but once they get to, like, that 5-6 minute point, you can see that people are like, come on, Kane should have won already. We know Vader's a loser.
Yeah. That's it. I think that's it. There's almost this expectation that isn't met the longer that Kane's in there. They've gotten used to this character on TV just absolutely plowing through everybody, and like,
don't want to see him do suplexes, you know.
I don't think there's an expectation of him to be a wrestler yet, and like, I understand why this plays out the way it does, and I can't really fault Vader here. Like, he's fine and he's selfless, but it's sort of. The atmosphere just dissolves, doesn't it? And I think that's the worst case scenario, really, when you're presenting Kane, because the idea is, going right back to our discussion of the cover, this is supposed to be like a reign of absolute terror. He's supposed to be running roughshod, and it stops being roughshod, really, doesn't it? It just starts being wrestling.
Yeah, you got to be careful what you wish for as well, because, like, you know, this character, we've seen many of them, you know, when it came to, especially when it came to Undertaker, and what would their offense be? It'd be fucking nerve holds, wouldn't it, and stuff like that, which he does pepper in a bit, because also, you know, I guess that's more realistic, because, like, where did this fucking monster learn how to fucking do, like, a weird fucking leg drop on the ropes, or a fucking, just a straight up elbow drop? Like, where did he go to wrestling school? Like, because his form, that's pretty good, you know? Like, realistically, it should be the board and stuff, but also, you want to pepper in the more interesting stuff too as well. But yeah, whether the people actually want to see that or not, I don't know. I just want to see Leon land a few more punches, but like you say, he tries to use the fire extinguisher, turns into a Kane choke slam, which again, he just gets up, he just stands up. Like, I feel like that's his a Hercules moment, where he just gets up and walks out on the 3 and when he's leaving the Fed, is it, like in the early 90s? Like, it feels a bit that he's still selfless, he's still willing to take the tombstone, and he's done at that point. And I will say as well, like, it's a bit poetic too. It's like, Vader is the in your house we knew, and Kane is where we're going next, isn't it? And like, it's actually quite clean the way it's done. It's like, this is the guy who's the monster now. That's the guy who used to be the monster, right down to Paul Bearer being out there as well, and obviously his history with Vader. So it kind of works there too. The post match less so, but memorable, which we can get to. But yeah, I think it's good booking. I think overall, I think is the main thing about this one.
Don't get too excited about it, because we might have one more round of this sooner than you think. I'll leave that one there for you. But there might be a little bit more Kane and Vader, maybe more than you really want to come before our year is out.
Like, maybe that's what I'm remembering. Don't correct me, because like I did feel like when I feel maybe it's again a Mandela effect thing. I still feel like the world has changed, but like, after the match, obviously, is the big bit that people mostly will remember. It's Kane using the wrench, isn't it? I swear that was a hammer. Am I just remembering that wrong? Like, maybe I'm just remembering it wrong. But like, I love, by the way, that Kane, you know, he loves hell, he loves fire, he loves brimstone. Apparently, he loves DIY, like, fucking loves it, whatever he's using that wrench for. I don't know. It's so out of character, isn't it? It's like, I remember at the time when I saw it, if that is the one that I'm remembering, feeling like, oh, that's a step too far. Fucking hell, that looks like it really is. But also not being able to connect it with the superhero power of Kane, who could have just, lit him on fire or something instead, but decided to hit him with a wrench.
Yeah, this is where I'm starting to feel a little bit more like myself, because after a year of me and you praising not just the excellent in-ring work, not just the kind of the nuanced character development and the exciting feuds brought about in The Undertaker's life thanks to his journey out of the darkness with Mankind all the way back in 1996, I'm starting to fucking hate The Undertaker and Kane before The Undertaker's even made his return, because Kane using a massive spanner just in order for Jim Ross to be like, you're taking things too far, man. This is just like that dumpster ride. And it's like, hang on. Like, last month, he literally set a bloke on fire on pay-per-view. Like, they have already kind of let themselves down in terms of how daft they're willing to get with these characters. And, like, the only way is down from here as well. Can we not clutch pearls at Kane opening a toolbox when he's just burned a wrestling legend alive 1 month earlier live on pay-per-view? Like, it's gone bollocks kind of already, hasn't it?
I always think of that when I think of Jim Ross. I can't remember which way around it is. Or maybe, no, it's Michael Cole doing a Jim Ross impression. Remember on SmackDown when they do it's like the early 2000s, they do the dumpster angle again. It's the Dudleys, isn't it? And Road Dogg and X-Pac. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I think it's a revenge, isn't it, for like the Dudleys powerbombing Tory, or it's one or the other way around. And Michael's like, it's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. And it's like, I mean, last week, like, you know, they put a girl through a table. You know, last week they put the dumpster. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. But you're right. Like, it feels like, you know, the way road agents come up with finishes. Like, clearly, like somebody's had an idea. Oh, you know what we'll do for either a finish or post match? We got this gimmick wrench somebody can use. It's a fucking big spanner. Use it. And like someone going, yeah, give it to Kane. Like, that's the bit that's disconnected, isn't it? There's another character that could work with, but it really is out of nowhere with Kane. I agree.
Aye, and I just it's not got me. It's had the opposite effect, I guess, because after months of really enjoying this story, I'm kind of dreading what's next between the brothers. You know, I think we'll see. We will see.
Well, luckily, when we get to the one of the matches coming up, we'll have a special guest who will hopefully pull some excitement out of us at the very least, because it won't be coming out of the video. But we'll get there. Post that, we have obviously our 10-man main event here. We have the recap video here. Did we cover on housekeeping the This Is It Austin? Sorry, I said 10-man, 8-man main event, really 7-man. The This Is It Austin, This Is It with Shawn putting the belt in Austin's face. Me and Matty were talking about in the show that last weekend. Again, might be a Mandela effect. Like, you've got the better memory for this stuff than me. I thought that was closer to Mania. Like, I was like, did we edit this in? Did we cover it on housekeeping and I've just forgotten? Or is there another one that I'm thinking of? Did they do it again?
No, we covered it on housekeeping. It's the thing is, Michael says, this is it, Austin. And then that is what happens before Cactus and Chainsaw come out the hospital, run DX off. It just feels like they're completely separate segments. And what happens is they loop the audio so effectively that you get that, this is it, Austin, this is it. Like, it feels like this really kind of iconic line read because they looped it for the video. But like, I was the same when we recapped it in housekeeping. It's like Michael says it once, Austin's trapped in the ropes, he looks like he's in deep shit, and then out come Cactus and Chainsaw down the aisle, and Owen Hart through the side, and like obviously the save is made basically. But yeah, that's the same night as the dumpster. Like, because as well, I don't want to jump ahead, but somebody else has got to join DX very soon. So like, that's for all of that as well. That becomes the main crux of what we get in the last few weeks before WrestleMania.
Of course, that's what I'm thinking of. Like, in the ropes with that person. Yeah, okay. No spoilers though for anybody who's never seen it. You know, we'll be there soon. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I've got it sorted. But yeah, a recap of everything that led to it, and the Austin wanting to get revenge on Shawn Michaels and his mates who taking the place of Shawn Michaels here. And speaking of which, I'll give it the big build up, Michael. Obviously, we're still focusing on the mystery of who's going to be the 8th man. We have Road Dogg and Billy Gunn coming out first to the New Age Outlaws theme. Like I mentioned earlier, strangely, Road Dogg does Hunter's intro. Odd, like almost like he's rehearsing for the role, maybe. And I was thinking, maybe they're working house shows together and they're trying a few things out. And I've got no source on this, but it really feels like Hunter wants them in and Shawn doesn't in real life. But yeah, like that, doesn't it? Yeah. So there's a bit of that. And you can see.
Is he whispering at the moment? He's like, lads, honestly, man, the guy's done in a month. Give me a month.
You'll be gone soon. You'll be back. This will be my fucking stable, and I'm going to turn it into a 4 horseman because Waltman's coming as well. Yeah, there's part of that I'm going to like, and you can see he's got a bit of chemistry with Billy and a bit with Roddy as well. So I guess it makes sense. And yeah, that's the 3 lads, Michael, as we build up to the 4th man, and I'm giving it more build up than they do, don't they? Because like literally, I'm the 4th man, and it's announced. Savio representing Los Boricuas, Savio Vega. And the worst part about it that I think I'd forgotten, he walks out literally to no music, to like groans, and makes groans and silence, and then the Los Boricuas music hits. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've somehow never seen this show before or read this story before, the 8th man is of course Savio Vega, the leader of Los Boricuas. Yeah, Michael, what the fuck are we doing here, mate? I don't know, you mentioned earlier there is law here, and I almost think the law makes it worse because, you know, the Boricuas have been doing a bit of dirty work, haven't they, for DX, but like, fuck me, like, the fucking brass neck on them to build this all up, and it's even worse watching it back in real time. Adding in as well, by the way, Hunter's fucking face when the crowd turn on it. You can see it's written all over his face, like, fucking hell. Like, what are we doing?
This feels like a cruel joke at our expense at this point, doesn't it? Because how much of this podcast in the early days has been dedicated to praising the work of Savio Vega. Like, what a delight Savio Vega was in those early In Your Houses. What a constant, like, and consistent source of entertainment and value Savio Vega was, right through to, I would say, having one. I mean, I think I said as much in the Houses for season 1. Go back and listen to the audio of the, like, his work as a performer, his match specifically with Steve Austin, part of their feud in general, which like was a lovely bit of business for Austin to get going properly in 1996. Kind of like often forgotten about unless you listen to the excellent Stone Cold Crazy on the Grapple Network, where they'll like fill in a lot of the gaps for you there. Like, I feel for Savio here. It is, it's so important what you flagged up there. The music coming after the audience have had time to hate it is like an extra pylon, and it isn't Savio's fault, is it? Like, what can he possibly do? The man's got a ring of barbed wire in his hand, like a spool of barbed wire in his hand, which, by the way, my Fed brain's ticking over here. The first barbed wire on a WWF pay-per-view ever, right? So this is like uncharted territory for violence within the WWF, and yet it's being held by Savio Vega, somebody who's being cast as a replacement for Shawn Michaels, the WWF champion. Like, what chance has he got? Like,
none.
The Triple H cut is brutal, and like normally I'd go in pretty hard on him for being a backstabbing twat. But your sympathies with everybody, isn't it? Your sympathies with like Triple H going like, well, how am I supposed to credibly sell this? Your sympathies with Savio for being sent out there to die. I've even got some sideways sympathy for the New Age Outlaws, because their push, as we've documented, has been so brilliant that they're in the main event. Like Billy and Rockabilly and the Real Double J from October are in the main event of a pay-per-view with Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? And this has happened. Like, Road Dogg must be thinking the Armstrong curse is still real. Like, just like, oh man. And it, like, it's an all-time bust. There's no other way to sort of, you can't sugarcoat any of it. Jim Ross presumably being like fed to remind the audience, like, again, this is a WWF selection. Like, that doesn't shine a good light on anybody, because it doesn't shine a good light on the heels for not wanting Savio Vega. It doesn't shine a particularly good light on the baby faces for being happy to go ahead with like a 4-on-3 match and having like a one-man advantage on the baddies. It shines a terrible light on Savio Vega for being like not even sloppy seconds, because the heels don't want him. Like,
they almost don't want to high five him, do they, when you get in the ring? It's like, get away from me. Like, I don't want any of your stank on me. Like, I understand this. I totally do.
It's honestly like he's got the lurgy or something, isn't it? And it's like you're back at school being like, God.
Him on my team.
Nah. Oh, Christ. It is. Never has there been a time where you want to be fucking grateful that you just happen to have the next Hulk Hogan also in this match to get you out of jail, because Jesus Christ, an all-time bust.
Of their own doing too, because they built it up like it was going to be their NWO as the third man, didn't they? Yeah. And it was Savio Vega. Like, they didn't have to do this. I mean, might as well say it here, because like this is the bigger talking point than the match. We'll get into the match because there's ways they salvage it. But like, is there another plan? Like, obviously, if this was 2026, it'd just be China, wouldn't it? That was staring them in the face. But unfortunately, it's 1998, and you know, Steve weren't selling for that, was he? And neither were the other lads out there, unfortunately. Whereas now, I think the wrestlers probably would, and that would be the easy fix, wouldn't it? Outside of that, like, are there other options? Like I say, Sid's it's a call. You could have done it. Yeah. Like I say, Waltman's still hurt, isn't he? And obviously doesn't come in till he doesn't get sacked yet, so it can't be him. Yeah. Outside of that, did you pull Rock from the Nation stuff? Probably not. You've got too important stories to tell. I'm just trying to think of like heels. There could be at least something to take advantage. Maybe you could. You know what you could have done? Could have done Kane, like some kind of pallbearer gets a favor from DX that you pay off later on to do it, Shawn and the Undertaker or something like that. Like, that might have been a saving grace. That might have fit a little bit as just like a higher gun.
But the solution to the problem of this being such a disaster is Steve Austin, because he's so over. But that is also a problem, because if you're picking somebody good, that heel theoretically has to get in the mix with Steve Austin, has to maybe take a stunner, has to maybe take a kick in, and they don't want to do that to Kane yet. You know,
Yeah, true.
they've just done it a lot with The Rock. DX, it's a weird. This is not me justifying what's happened here, by the way, but like DX as heels don't like anybody. They've just about endorsed the New Age Outlaws. And even then, they bollock them. You remember the dumpster thing, and the Outlaws are about to like regret it, and then Shawn and Hunter come on and no, like they're kind of being these like kind of very patronizing older brother figures. So
they're the year 8 boys, and they're the year 7 boys, you know.
Exactly, yeah. Like the DX characters don't want to like play well with others. Like the Outlaws aren't in any kind of position of agency, and Steve Austin is a guy that can't be paired off against top heels because you're about to need a year's worth of them when you're putting the belt on him. Like it's honestly, I think the best move to have made, and don't ask me who this name is, by the way, was to literally throw it open to anybody that doesn't work for the company. You know, like play on shock, like just play on a name from the past, like a random one night cameo where even years later we're doing this podcast and we look back and being like, I'm trying to pull a name out my arse here, but like, got to come up with somebody quickly. What the fuck was Waylon Mercy doing at a No Way Out pay-per-view? but just the fact that it's so odd and weird that like a call has been made to like this name from the past, you know, like that kind of thing. At very, very least, they could go on this list of like almost like an oddity of a choice as opposed to just taking
Sabu or something to counter Cactus Jack and Terry, and Terry Funk. You know,
I mean that would have been absolutely incredible, wouldn't it? But like, like a favor, one of a million options in ECW as a favor. Shane Douglas, Triple H, like anybody. But the fact that it was somebody, one of your rank and file guys, like. Yeah. When the whole point of Shawn Michaels is that he is leagues above 99% of your roster, it was a disaster waiting to happen.
Massively. Well, like you said, the one solution to this disaster that was very much waiting to happen and of their own making is, of course, Steve Austin. Because I've got to say, when the babyfaces do come out and Austin, we're very much in the Austin Pop era, aren't we, mate? It's the world has changed. We're not quite in the Owen Hart Pop era. That might have been a solution, by the way. Just take Owen out the match. Like have DX beat him up. There you go. 3-on-3. Sorted.
Owen doing his own little suck it pose. Like Owen was trying to do Owen was crotch chopping like he was Mike Tyson or something. It was all arms and elbows and like
I love that, by the way. Road Dogg and Billy know that that's like we can't do that yet. We're not in the club yet. We can't join in. We have to stay away. But yeah, obviously Austin gets the big pop, and it's very quick that people kind of forget, don't they? In fairness, because Austin is a house on fire, and that is what people have came to see. They don't care which 4 heels are in front of him to beat up, as long as there are 4 heels for him to beat up. And yeah, they go straight to mayhem right away. It's fucking shit happening everywhere we can get into, with tables and bins and a little bit of retro stuff in there, Michael, because at least we do get Austin working a bit of Savio, so little something for the old school season 1 Benno Hamflett head. So that was nice at least. Funk and Foley are taking most of the bumps in this. Funk gets powerbombed through 2 chairs by the Outlaws at one point. I love how much Funk and as much as the Outlaws have gotten themselves over, those lads are helping getting them over to that next level. Once the match calms down, it's kind of that's the big event that leads to Funk mostly doing the selling for the heels. You get that, I've got to point it out here, during that selling, during that beatdown, Austin's just bored, so he just grabs a bin mate and throws it at Billy Gunn. Like, I mean, that might be meme moment number 4 of the night. Like, the man Terry Funk landed on his head. Like, how unbelievable. Pissed myself laughing. And of course, Billy took it. You could see it felt like it was Chinese whispers. Like Austin mentioned it to Foley, who then mentioned it to the ref, who then mentioned it to Billy Gunn, so that he knew to be there at the right point. And Austin's just standing there, the knobhead with a pin, and launches out. I'm fucking chewing scenery, mate. Fucking love him. Contrary to thoughts on certain podcasts. We get the hot tag to Cactus, who takes out the heels, double arm DDT in here for mandible claw, but Triple H the cunt low blows him, which then means Cactus it's a bit of a double heater in it then that sells for the majority of the match. At which point, as you noted, Savio Vega becomes the barbed wire guy, complete with gloves. So we got a bit of that to get into as well. But yeah, I mean, I might as well just get to it. Finish comes with obviously Billy cheering Road Dogg by mistake. Stone Cold takes advantage. Stunner on Billy. Done. There's not a lot to it, but I imagine there's bits within that mayhem that, like me, mate, you very much enjoyed and really, obviously the post-match is part of it too, but like the party atmosphere and the fact that you're getting to see Austin in with this and Owen Hart aside, it's a great crew of babyfaces. Sorry, Owen, at this point in their runs, and yeah, I think there's people still manage to have a good time despite the fact it's Savio Vega out there.
Yeah, I think this is a real achievement, you know. Like, I love, there's like 3 times that I counted when Austin and Savio just brawl around on the floor. And I love that, right? Because on one hand, it might just be Austin having all those great memories of working with Savio and thinking, oh, class, I'll lock it up with you again tonight. And also, it's a little bit like of a fuck you to Triple H because he was proper like sneering at Savio when he came out. And I'm thinking, hang on. Savio's done more with Austin on pay-per-view than you ever will, pal. Like,
it's true that.
Don't get it twisted here. So, I love that they've got this little thing where they find themselves coming back together. And, if you really break this down for what, as you say, it's a party match. It's kind of, they do a good job of manufacturing chaos, which historically is quite a difficult thing to do. I'm always impressed when chaos actually feels like chaos, as opposed to, that fake pro wrestling chaos. So that's quite good. But, it's very weird if you actually break it down into chapters, because the brawl at the start is super hot. And then, for no reason in particular, it turns into a standard issue 8-man tag where wrestlers have to acknowledge the tag rope and have to acknowledge the 5 count, despite the fact that Austin can throw a bin and it's not a DQ, despite the fact that a brawl can break out at any moment. It doesn't. The ref is attempting to. It's so odd that they elect to turn it into that. It's like the first half of the match is the non-sanctioned bit because Shawn's not in it. The second half of the match is the bit of the match that was supposed to happen. It's
I was literally trying to do my notes, and I was like, how am I going to note down all this fucking mayhem? It felt a bit like the Canadian Stampede match at the start. And I was like, how am I going to note any of this down? And you're right. And then it just stops, doesn't it? And it's Funk and Foley selling. And it's literally double heat, midnight rock and rolls, typical tag match in it. There's just 8 of them.
Yeah, it's but it's not, again, it's not to the match's detriment in particular. I think it gives the fans a tiny breather before Austin gets his tag and hits all the stunners. It's in that respect, it's quite well agented because all you've done is manufacture a reason to stop Austin kicking ass. And then as soon as he's allowed to again, as soon that one tag is opening the door for him, isn't it, to go in there and be Steve Austin. Jim Ross on commentary, sensational here. Has there ever been when you kind of remember when they promoted WrestleMania 19, one of the most overrated WrestleManias, and that's the hill I'll die on, around Vince, about Vince and Hogan and about who was more responsible for Hulkamania. Was it Vince or was it Hogan? You know, and because one was the booker and one was the worker and stuff. If you imagine Vince as the voice of that, and Gorilla Monsoon as well, but Vince's commentary against Hulk Hogan, and Vince got what Hulkamania was, and he could be Hulk Hogan this and Hulk Hogan that. Jim Ross and Austin, it's one and the same, isn't it? Can you imagine this specific chapter of Austin's run if it was Michael Cole having to do the JR-isms? He calls him the man of the hour, when he's kind of he's on his way to the man of the hour. He's on his way to WrestleMania. There's a point I've got early in the match where he says there's that's you mentioned it before when they wait for Austin to come out last. That swell in the building as the crowd, and it's in Texas as well. The crowd are waiting for him. And JR, as Austin enters, he says, I have never heard an ovation like what we're experiencing here. And I know that's commentary, hyperbole, and you've got to say stuff like that. But to watch it, this is Hulkamania stuff, isn't it? They know this is happening. They know they know they're back. You know, they know the power's back. They've got their guy. There's no sort of doubts. There's no ifs. There's no buts. He's shaken off. He's shaken off the neck injury for all intents and purposes. So they can breathe a sigh of relief that he's injecting something in himself so he can go out and work every night. It's the confidence that allows everybody to level up, knowing that they've got their guy. It changes the mood, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does. And it is. I think maybe we're identifying something here on the timeline. Is it before Tyson and after Tyson? It's before Tyson, as much as obviously he was undeniable by the end of 1987. Of course he was. Yeah. But also it was Vince McMahon and the WWF. And we keep pointing out, he was also on the phone to the Ultimate Warrior. There was still a part where they could have fumbled, wasn't there? And I think post Tyson, we're past the point, aren't we? There's no fumbling now. I mean, WrestleMania's, it's a done deal. It's a tick in the box. Shawn might try and ruin it. We'll get to that. But outside of that, Austin's the guy. Like, there's no denying it now. He is the guy. He's the draw. Like, this show even, selling 16,000 tickets and 150,000 on pay-per-view. It's because of Steve Austin in it. It's not because of this fucking match. It's not because of anything else on this card. It's because Steve Austin is raising all ships and, like, in this, it feels like, I'm sure they knew in 97, but, like, all doubt has been removed. Like, it is now. There's no other path, is there? None at all. Shawn can't politic his way out of it. We'll get into that. And, there's no one other than Steve outside of maybe Dwayne that's going to come. Like, it does. It feels like something's changed, doesn't it? It feels like the change from 97 to 98. It's almost the change between not my Steve and my Steve. To be honest, mate, we'll get into that
getting close too. Getting close.
It'll getting close. Aren't we? Like, it's something else now. It's something on top of being like this amazing character on a wrestling show who, had fun matches and amazing segments. He's something more than that now, isn't he? Like, it's already happened and Mania doesn't come yet.
Yeah, he's like, I will say, like, we've been incredibly critical of the show for good reason, by the way, and I don't want to spoil the next bit you're going to recap before we wrap this up.
Oh, of course. Actually, maybe it's
like when he's about to do something, but like he stays out there and he gives it an oh hell yeah down the microphone, and like JR says Austin is roaring into WrestleMania. Like, as shite as this show has been, right? I've got in my notes here, this is brilliant. I want to watch this all night. And what I mean by that is just Steve Austin in this moment. I want to watch that all night. That's the definition of a draw, because, like, make no mistake, like, this is an all-time turd polishing performance by Stone Cold Steve Austin, and to like a lesser extent The Rock in the undercard. But if this show doesn't end with Steve Austin, it's funny, like the Hogan comparison is apt again, because what was Pritchard's catchphrase in those podcasts? Hogan must pose. This is like the next stage of that is Austin must drink, isn't it? Like, the sheer magnitude of the man of Stone Cold Steve Austin is a magic beyond traditional pro wrestling, and now we're getting it, and we're getting like kind of like given as much of it as the Fed can justify before having to hold back that little bit, because there's always a pay-per-view next month and always a pay. I couldn't get enough of Austin in this match. I was just, my eyes were drawn to him when he was on the apron. Like, I was like, the spot with the bin is as much about Austin's instincts being so brilliant to be like, I mean, I haven't done anything in a couple of minutes. Shall I do something? Like, not many wrestlers would A, be as like confident to do that, but B, also was like arrogant to realize that it's going to go down well. Like, imagine if you're a babyface and you do that and the people didn't really want that from you. It'd be pretty embarrassing, wouldn't it? Like that he literally cannot go wrong.
And that's the bit that we're at now, isn't it? That, like, this could be not boots and trunks, but, boots and trunks and a few beers. Steve Austin, wins the match, and that's job done. It is those little bits. It's those little bits of humor, those little character bits that make Steve Austin that level above everyone else, isn't it? Like, I misspoke before. It's the stunners on Road Dogg that he pins, because then, like you said, once he's stunned Road Dogg, then he stunners Billy. Then he just punches Triple H off the apron. He just bother with it. Like, he just fucks up. Savio, he lets go. He's scared of him. He's got barbed wire on him, so you better be careful. But, like, obviously not scared of him is Chyna, who gets into the ring. And again, this is typical Steve, isn't it? It's not all about the match. It's about the post-match too, and the celebration with him. She gives him a push. Steve wonders what he's going to do. She goes for him again. Kick, wham. Stunner. The fucking pop. I don't know if it's problematical or not, but the pop, because nobody gets Chyna, do they? Nobody gets Chyna.
Nah.
But, like, there's almost something to it as well. Of course, it's Steve that gets Chyna as well, and God bless her, she sells it well. It's the first of many, but maybe it's the first one on a woman. It's got to be, hasn't it? First of a few. But they'll take all prisoners, equal opportunities. Let's say that about Steve. And like I say, the pop this gets is unbelievable, and like that, mate, the Savio Vega entrance is forgotten, because this is it's the Steve circus at this point, isn't it? It's not just Steve the wrestler, Steve the promo. It's everything that comes with it, and this is part of it.
Yeah, like, to your point there, this has been an absolutely dog shit experience, but if you were in the building, have you been given what you paid to see? You would say yes times a million, wouldn't you? Because of this stunner alone on Chyna. Like, the shot, by the way, so she shoves him twice, doesn't he? And he kind of goes to leave, which is, again, this thing with Austin where they always try and measure out how much of a baby face can a, like, equal opportunities ass kicker really be. Well, 2 pushes is when he tries to leave. It's when she gives him the double bird in the face, and then he does that. There's a you don't get it on the first view, but it's in one of the replays, isn't it? Where he looks down the hard camera and goes, "Oh, all right," and he realizes, so that's who China is. I guess I can drop her on her head, and that that sort of. He's witty, isn't he, with his comedy, Stone Cold Steve Austin, at this point. Like, there is a real dry wit to the way that Austin carries himself. And I think that's again, it's a type, in the same way that the character 1 year ago was the type of character who just walked, talked, and acted differently to every other wrestler. His comedy is different to wrestling comedy. Like, it's a type of wrestling comedy you'd get out of Ric Flair in a suit in the TBS space station in the kind of mid-80s. It's definitely not fed comedy at all. It's not broad. It's a bit wink and a bit nudge. And again, it's Austin with every passing month letting you be his mate that little bit more. And that connection that he's building is ultimately what you're right about the Tyson thing propelling him as a star, but you've never been a closer friend to Steve Austin than you've been right now, have you? Like, all of it is building at the exact same time, and it's just like it's magic. It's what you watch for. It's why you watch. A star once upon a time will have got you into wrestling because of stuff like this. And then if it's not, Austin's not our first guy, but then when you realize a new guy is happening, you get dare I say it, the kind of romance butterflies. You're like, oh my God, brilliant. Like, you get the goosebumps. All of it's tied together. It's all an emotional response. And we've probably both had it with CM Punk at various points in his career, and at various points with the rise of AEW and who that was creating or whatever. Whenever you discover something new and you get that that first flush of love, like Austin giving a generation of fans their first flushes of love here. It's really captivating, isn't it?
It is, and it's it's using as well the tools of the traditional tools of wrestling to do it. It's not that different from Hogan fucking around after matches, is it? That crowd, you say he feels like your guy and you're involved in it. He's making you involved in it, like you mentioned. China pushes him and he's going to the crowd going, looking at them, and they're all going, oh, what are you going to do, Steve? What are you going to do? Pushes him again. It's proper fucking, it's broad, isn't it? It's fucking, panto stuff in a way, isn't it? Oh, should I? No. And then, like you say, he's about to leave and she flips him off again and he gets back in. It is played quite well because she's not looking at him. She turns around and then you get the stunner. But it's it's been built up on it. It's that rule of threes, that cathartic moment, whatever you think of what that cathartic moment should be happening or not. It's using all the old skills to do something very new and different and very, dare I say it, 1998. And it's all about bringing the people along with him. The people, that's the other thing that I think 1998 feels like it's Steve's army in it. It's Steve's world. We're just living in it and everyone's backing him behind it. He's the hometown team in every single way.
No, I think it speaks to the power of his performance and how over he is and how magic all this is, because we've almost gone 5 minutes without saying what an absolute dog shit all-time turkey of a pay-per-view this was, because it reeked before this. Reeked.
I think I take it back. I think this is our worst, mate. It's dragged me out of a coma today and made me feel better just talking about it. I've had a great time. But it's honestly, watching it, that point in the middle of the show, when the NWA lads came out, never mind that, and else on the show was my God, it made me wonder, fucking hell, are we wrong about this? Where are we going? What are we doing? I always use the Rumble as an example. I used the DX pay-per-view as an example. Like I say, about the mood around that and my memory of that being oh, they're fucking done here, despite knowing that they're probably not done. Here, it's not even a probably. I know they're not done. They just did the Tyson angle, and Austin's going to be winning the belt at WrestleMania. It's been signposted for everyone to see. The good times are pretty clearly coming, and yet still they can put out a show like this, and still they can fill it with the NWA fucking bums, and still they can fill it with the fucking Rouge, the Quebeccers. What are we doing? The Quebeccers versus the Godwins was on this show. They still, it's like the conversation we had last time. They're getting a lot of things right, but the things they're getting wrong, it's easy with the 30 years of hindsight, but you can't help but look at it and go, who thought any of this was a good idea? It was a house show in a lot of ways too. This pay-per-view stuck.
I feel
but it had a happy house show ending, so maybe that helps it.
like I feel like I'm your pusher because like I can now say to you like, oh, don't worry, Benno, I'll send you another housekeeping that'll keep you on track, because like so much of it is still so utterly magic that once again you get fooled into thinking, oh no, now it's fine, now it's fine. There may be a lesson here about some of the mid cards to come as they continue to like fine tune. Like a promotion, a product can turn quicker than you think, but a promotion as a whole always takes a lot longer, doesn't it?
Yeah. And that comes to, when Steve wins the belt, as far as setting up challenges for him as well. It's not as easy as maybe some remember as well. But no, I'm looking forward to covering it, mate. So at least we get to talk about it, and that's the fun part, isn't it? But yeah, no magic switch, unfortunately, but we will get there. Any other thoughts for you on the show before we do get out of here?
No, just echoing that really. Like I definitely felt like, and we'll touch on this more next month. In the coverage of the next month through housekeeping and through Unforgiven. Like I felt a bit of sadness in the pit of my stomach because I find myself getting quite bored with Kane and realizing, right, this is whatever my Kane was. This is hashtag not my Kane. I think like I was watching the character be given to fans of that genre of wrestling. And I'm categorically not a fan of that genre of wrestling. And I include The Undertaker in that most of the time. Like I was realizing my relationship with The Undertaker was coming to an end and he wasn't even on this show. Do you know what I mean? It was like I could feel it. And goodbye Ahmed, goodbye Shawn, goodbye a lot of our past. Like God knows what future we're heading into.
I'll process the show, man. I think when it comes to housekeeper and we obviously get through WrestleMania, but God, it's going to be a very different show going forwards, mate. It's certainly is. It definitely hits hard, but yeah, great time talking it, mate. At the very least, looking forward to the housekeepings that are coming. I should you lot, Michael, will be putting the finishing touches on the homework for that as we speak, and yeah, before we know it, we'll be at Unforgiven. But yeah, outside of our stuff, Michael, anything you'd like to plug? Anything going on?
Just the usual, Benno. What Culture Wrestling, if you're not completely sick of my shite going on about defending the Fed, even in spite of it actually being a good product. You can find that every single week in 2026 when I talk about Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, because I still find good amongst the piles and piles of bad. We're also doing AEW Dynamite. By the time you listen to this, I hope I should be able to promote what should be some coverage that we'll be doing down at Wembley for All Elite Wrestling with their big show there. I won't be there present myself, but go and check out the boys. If that never came to pass, by the way, just pretend I've never said this bit, but it's certainly looking good and certainly looking on the cards. I'm available if you ever want to sort of find me, you can. You search my name and search What Culture. You'll find our YouTube channel. You'll find all our regular weekly reviews, pay-per-views, previews, Dilemma Leaners, and you want me and chop up some Brett and Shawn type debates across an hour a week as well. What Culture Wrestling in my name. You'll find it all there.
Amazing listening, great stuff. Well, yeah, I enjoyed the one about which part of WWF would you cut out if you had to choose. That was a fun Dilemma Mania. Watching old school Michael in your house, Michael, go against modern Fed, Michael. It was a great listen. But yeah, I was going to say great timing. Obviously, this coming out last week. I'll plug all the other grapple stuff we've got going on. Regular spotlights, weekend shows, which is our main show now. You will find all information about that over at Grapple. But I think the big thing to sell is last week, Michael, we had you on the Patreon and joining me and Matty to talk the proper stuff, mate, the good stuff from 1998. WCW, Bash at the Beach, 98. If you ever fancy what it sounded like, here to me and Michael talk what was going on the other channel, you can get it over at Grapple. And yeah, I'd say a great show, but if I'm honest, I haven't watched it yet. We're recording this in the past. I think it was great. I'm sure it was great, given the kayfabe away there.
Yeah, it was put it like this again. Now that you've given the game away, what I can say with certainty is that it was a pleasure to be on to talk about it with you guys, and I'll just leave it there. It was. And I'll just leave it there so not to spoil your watching of it.
And it probably went longer than this as I try and get this under 3 hours, but yeah, that probably went over 3 hours to be fair as well. So check that out if you haven't already. And like I say, we have changed things around. We are now weekly on all of the feeds with the Grapple Weekend show on Fridays. So yeah, if you want another regular weekly podcast in your feeds, definitely check us out there. Grapple, whatever podcast is sold.
Well, and in which case, to keep this from under that 3 hours, I will say right as we're about to hit our time, thanks for the house.
See you now.
Get on your feet. Got another show to go. We're all together. All together. All together. Best there is, best there was, best there ever will be.